What's up guys, this is your favorite fanfic YouTuber, the Fanfic Majesty, and welcome to another amazing video. You can follow me on Patreon for exclusive stories. In Konoha, Slap White Fang 1WF Chapter 1, Uncle, Dad, something is wrong recently. Konoha's 38th year, at this moment, coincides with the Second Ninja World War. Fire Country, by the lakeside of Konoha village, a simple cabin. There are fields of cabbage, tomatoes, corn and other vegetables next to it. It is located in the suburbs outside of Konoha's village wall, where Naruto's daily fishing raps in the original work is here. A boy about 5 or 6 years old with a silver-haired hedgehog head and a face mask that covers the entire face below the bridge of his nose. Walking to the door of the wooden house, he raised his head and called. Gah! About half a minute later, the door of the wooden house was slowly opened. A man who was about the second half of his 25 years old had the same silver hair as the boy, but he was in the middle and elegant. And the man with more fierce and prestigious temperament walked out of it. Heroic. This is definitely the most suitable word to describe this man. The premise is, he doesn't wear a farmer's straw hat on his head. It's 50-50, why come to me when I have time? The man lowered his head and cast his eyes on this little bit, and then picked up the hoe on the side to work on the ground. Uncle, my name is Kakashi. Kakashi rolled his eyes, speechless. Anyway, he grew up so old, he has not heard this uncle call his real name a few times. 55 open. Uncle got himself a nickname. Hitaki Xuan Che, 28 years old, identity, Konoha Genin. And now the representative figures of the new generation of Konoha, Tsunade Haim, Jiraiya, or Orochimaru, were once classmates of ninja school. At the same time, he is also the second master of Konoha village after Hokage, White Fang, Hitaki Shumo's 5-year-old younger brother. However, it is impossible to say that Hitaki is inferior to the current Hokage Sarutobi Hiruzen. Because Sarutobi Hiruzen is still at its peak, but it is nearly half 100 years old, and there is no possibility of a breakthrough. In the years to come, his strength will only retreat instead of advancing. And Hitaki Shumo, who is just in his early 30s, has room for further breakthroughs. Surpassing Sarutobi Hiruzen is very possible, but only a few people such as Hitaki Sakumo and Kakashi know. Hitaki Xuan Che in front of me, how terrifying, come and have a meal together. After loosening the soil, Xuan Che shaved a cabbage out of the ground and picked a few tomatoes. After washing it twice in the bucket next to him, he took out the rice balls from the stool behind him and threw one of them to Kakashi. Uncle, it's not time to eat, Dad recently, advertisement. 55, oh no. Kakashi quickly told Xuan Che about the recent anomaly of his father Hitaki. In short, it has been since Hitaki returned from the battlefield last week. The originally cheerful personality became more silent, even gloomy. For more than a week, I locked myself in the house without saying a word, which made Kakashi's heart surging with an unknown premonition. So he ran here and asked his uncle for help, could it be? Xuan Che frowned and recalled, remembering that this kid Kakashi should have enrolled in a ninja school some time ago, right? Counting the time, it seems to be almost the same. I have said so many times to tell him not to be so glass-hearted, and he hasn't made any progress at all. Taking off the straw hat with one hand, Xuan Che got up and strode towards Konoha's main entrance. Seeing this, Kakashi quickly followed behind, however, just took 2 steps. Xuan Che turned back abruptly as if thinking of something. Entered the room and took out a knife. Kakashi grunted and swallowed. The sense of uncertainty in his heart instantly transformed into a sense of crisis. ... It's all because of you, causing the mission to fail completely. Otherwise, our war with Sand Shinobi can be over. You are Konoha's traitor. Do you know how many people will die on the front line just because of your selfish desires? In front of Hitaki's house, when Xuan Che and Kakashi arrived, I happened to see that about 5 or 6 Konoha shinobi were pointing at Hitaki in front of the door and cursing. Xuan Che paid attention to those Zuan ninjas' ninja clothes and raised his eyebrows. The Sarutobi family? Who is the leader? Xuan Che's gaze was fixed at the front, pointing to the one that Hitaki Shumo scolded the most and asked. Yes. Sarutobi Shinosuke, in the previous mission, he seemed to be a teammate who worked with Dad. After all, Kakashi who was just a 6-year-old kidhead whispered Kaido. Oh, it's him. Xuan Che gave a funny laugh and strode forward. Snapped. In the next second, before anyone could react, Xuan Che slapped his brother's face with a slap. With a crisp sound of at least 80 decibels, Hitaki directly slapped Hitaki and fell to the ground, his left cheek swelled directly. Xuan Che. Hitaki Sakamao, who was fanned by the Star of Venus, finally slowed down. After several seconds, he saw the person who fanned him clearly and said in disbelief. Dad. Are you okay? Advertisement Kakashi, who was shocked, also reacted suddenly, ran to pick up his father, and then shouted at Xuan Che. Uncle. What are you doing? Asking you to comfort my father, not asking you to beat him. Why don't you respond? Xuan Che asked Hitaki Sakumo condescendingly. Hitaki was speechless for a while, not knowing how to answer. A bunch of trash can ride on your cage-level head and shit and you're silent. Do you eat too much shit? Xuan Che asked again. Ehole, you 10,000 years genin, who gave you the courage to say that? The people behind Sarutobi Shinosuke and others were furious, and as they spoke, they reached out to grab Xuan Che's shoulder and punch him. My dad is Hokage, who am I afraid of? 10,000 years genin. Used to describe the two ninjas of Konoha, one of them is the thick eyebrows Might wears. The other is that there is a tough old man who is still a genin Hitaki Xuan Che when he is almost 30. Suddenly, Xuan Che pulled out the saber around his waist. It is different from the lightning style plus Hitaki technique that my brother White Fang is good at. The moment Xuan Che pulled out the sword body burst into raging flames. Fire style plus swordsmanship, it's a bit like Uchiha's swordsmanship. Booming, the flames of the raging waves, coupled with the sword energy that can cut everything. An inferior brother White Fang broke out, black flame. The flames and sword aura merged, almost wiping the foreheads of Sarutobi Shinosuke and others behind him, flying into the sky. Boom. In the next instant, the walls of Konoha Mountain exploded. The Yandiao of 3rd Hokage Sarutobi Hiruzen was blown into powder. Around, the black flame is still burning. Open black lens bracket dimensional evolution system close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket host. Hitaki Xuan Che close black lens bracket, swordsmanship. Hitaki, Hokage world. Right pointing arrow Hawkeye black swordsmanship, One Piece world, evolution degree. Percent. Fire style ninjutsu, Hokage world. Right pointing arrow blood succession limit inferno style, Hokage world, evolution degree, 78.4%. Body flicker technique, Hokage world. Right pointing arrow Shunpo, Shinigami world, evolution degree, 25.9%. Chapter 2. Red. Shall I invite you to eat? On the side of Konoha's bustling street, behind two 6-year-old girls, a boy of the same age chased behind, chattering endlessly. Red. Do you agree? The girl with shoulder-length black short hair smiled bitterly at the girl with long hair that was slightly curled up to the waist and her eyes were like rubies. I don't want it. Asuma, this guy only brags about how amazing his father is, and he's so boring. Then, what is that? Shiri's red words have not been finished yet. I saw a black crescent across the sky above Konoha, and then hit the Hokage rock in the back mountain. Boom. The aftermath of the explosion formed a storm that swept almost half of Konoha. Yurihong, Shizune, Asuma and other little ghosts who had just entered the ninja school were blown to the ground. Ordinary people around, not to mention more. All of them fell on their backs and fell to the ground in embarrassment. Why, what's going on? Earthquake, hey, look at Hokage rock. 3. Yandiao of Master 3rd Generation, no, gone? Is it an enemy attack? Hurry up and notify the Uchiha guard. When seeing the face sculpture of 3rd Hokage who disappeared without a trace after the mountain was blown into powder, Konoha fell into a panic. After all, it is now in the period of the Ninja World War. Many people's first reaction was to encounter an enemy attack. Shirihong and Shizune, two 6-year-old loli, also climbed from the ground. Just now, the attack just now has the power of S-rank ninjutsu, right? Shizune's face paled in fright, and he was still in shock. The one. Just now, it's a sword technique, but my dad can't do that level. Could it be Uncle Shumao? It's not right, Uncle Shumao uses lightning style. His father, Yuhitaka, was also Konoha's famous swordsmanship and phantom ninja, and Yurihong saw that it was a swordsmanship just now. However, it is by no means a level that his father can reach. In her cognition, only her father's friend, the famous White Fang, can do it. Advertisement, but it's not right. Looking at the weird black flames burning on the mountain wall, it is obviously not compatible with the lightning-style knife technique that White Fang is best at. Let's go and see. Shirihong took her best friend by the hand and quickly ran towards the direction where the sword energy had just exploded. Hey, wait for me, Red. Asuma got up from the ground in a panic and hurried to catch up. And it has not been pushed to the corner of the village, located in the Uchiha tribe in the center of the village. Not yet a patriarch, Uchiha Fugaku, who was only 23 years old, stared blankly at the black flames still burning on the back mountain rock wall, and said to himself in shock. No. Then, is that the indestructible flame recorded in Uchiha history? God, Amaterasu? In front of Hitaki's house. Seeing Xuan Che raising the knife, a group of Sarutobi ninjas headed by Sarutobi Shinosuke collapsed to the ground in fright. Looking towards the back mountain, the Yandiao of his father who had disappeared was destroyed by the explosion. Sarutobi Shinosuke and the others swallowed. Is this really the 10,000 years genin who is as famous as Might Die? Behind him, Hitaki and Kakashi, the father and son, did not show much consternation. They know best how terrifying the power of this younger brother, uncle, is. Do you still want to commit suicide? Xuan Che didn't even pay attention to the frightened Sarutobi Shinosuke on the ground, and turned to ask the old man. It's just a dragon set that hasn't survived to the original text and can't keep its name. Hitaki Sakumo's face was suddenly startled. To be honest, there have been infinite accusations from other ninjas recently. It really made him think of suicide. Unexpectedly, he was seen through by this brother who hadn't seen him for a long time. Dad. Kakashi was also completely frightened. Dad actually wanted to commit suicide? Advertisement, I don't know what you did in the previous mission, but suicide is the stupidest thing in the world. Xuan Che slowly retracted the saber into its sheath, and said indifferently. When you die, there's nothing left. With this thought again, I will see you once and beat you once. Xuan Che embraced Yu Shang with both hands, and said unceremoniously. As a traverser in the previous life, Xuan Che already felt that Hitaki Shumao was a dead end. And now he is his only second relative. Xuan Che couldn't just watch the other person die. Hitaki Tsukumo was speechless, and to be honest, his face still hurts. Dad, don't have that kind of thought. Kakashi also had a crying expression on his face, pulling Hitaki's clothes corner and shouted. Looking at these two relatives, Hitaki Shumao's heart also began to pan acid. Biting Feng Chang smiled and said. Don't worry, I won't. Who destroyed Hokage Yandiao just now? Suddenly, a cold humming sound came into his ears. The three of the Hitaki family turned their heads to look. I saw more than a dozen figures wearing gray vests and animal masks, suddenly flashing with body flicker technique. Surrounded the Hitaki mansion in an instant. At this time, Shi Rihong's little ghosts just arrived. And there are two more kids of the same age, Uchiha Obito and Nohara Lin. The two groups met on the road. Is this uniform an Anbu or a root? Xuan Che looked at these people and asked with interest. The roots of Sarutobi Hiruzen's Anbu and Shimura Danzo are the same. It is said that there are subtle differences in the characteristics of the mask. But for Genin, Xuan Che, he couldn't see it at all. Chapter 3. The group of people who came did not even pay attention to Xuan Che's question. In their eyes, Hitaki Xuan Che, the 10,000 years Genin, did not deserve to talk to them. After all, the world still speaks by strength. Otherwise, at the end of the Third Ninja War, Cloud Shinobi tried to kidnap Hyuga Hinata to expose, but instead dared to attack Konoha. Isn't it because Cloud Shinobi's strength was better than Konoha at the time? It's from the root. At this time, the big brother Hitaki Shumao answered Xuan Che. Huh, it turned out to be Danzo's dogleg, Xuan Che sneered. Shut up, 10,000 years Genin, you are not qualified to speak. A member of the root scolded Xuan Che, obviously not aware of the seriousness of the problem. Hitaki Tsukumo, did you make the sword chi just now? Come to the torture department with us? The cold gaze under the mask of the leader of the root squad captain was fixed on Hitaki Tsukumo. Obviously, the roots thought that the sword chi just now came from Hitaki Tsukumo. Not to mention Konoha, looking at the entire ninja world, I am afraid that there is no second one. Although the weird black flame is obviously not compatible with Hitaki Tsukumo who made lightning style. But who else is there besides him? It can't be Hitaki Xuan Che, 10,000 years Genin, right? The attack that ruined Hokage Rock just now was Kakashi's dad? Obito, with black hair and Naruto's hairstyle, was shocked, and at the same time there was a bit of admiration in his eyes. Okay, so powerful, so powerful. The boss with wide-eyed Shi Rihong said in disbelief. No, it's impossible, Uncle Shuamao can't do such a thing. Asuma snorted. Huh? Destroy the Hokage Rock, which symbolizes Hokage. This is enough for him to sit for a lifetime. Advertisement. No, it's not Hitaki Tsukumo. At this time, Sarutobi Shinosuke and others have been relieved from the shock, pointed at Xuan Che, gritted their teeth and said to the roots. Yes, he did it. In an instant, everyone on the scene turned their attention to Xuan Che. The leader of the root part seemed to have heard some fantasy jokes, and pointed to Xuan Che, and asked Sarutobi Shinosuke. A tone of, are you kidding me, are you kidding me? This is the 10,000 years Genin that might wear the same name. Yes, his swordsmanship is almost equal to that of White Fang, and the weird black flame, that's it was him. Thinking of the destructive power of the S-level slash just now, Sarutobi Shinosuke still has some lingering fears until now, and his tone trembled. Hidden, it's hidden too deep. What on earth do you want to do? Obito, Rin Nohara and others were dumbfounded. The slash just now was not made by White Fang, but by the uncle who lives on the outskirts of the village and usually farms the land and grows vegetables. You know, Xuan Che gave them the impression that it was a vegetable grower. I heard Hokage's eldest son say so. No matter how incredible the roots are, they have to accept this fact. When a mediocre who is regarded as 10,000 years Genin by everyone, suddenly can use S-rank ninjutsu. Everyone's first reaction was definitely not bragging and admiration. There is only endless vigilance and hostility, not to mention the suspicious groups like the Sarutobi family and roots. The next moment, more than a dozen players at the root pulled out their sabers, and the ninjas of the Sarutobi family who were brought down by Xuan Che also put on a fighting pose. Hey, it's a bit bad. Advertisement. Obito shivered in shock. In that case, take Hitaki Xuan Che back. The captain of the root part shouted coldly. Sarutobi's new helper said, also saying. So is Hitaki Tsukumo. He made a major mistake in San Shinobi's mission and deserves to be punished. Ha ha ha. As soon as Sarutobi Shinosuke said this, Xuan Che smiled and bent over, making everyone puzzled again. Why are you laughing? Sarutobi Shinosuke asked with an unknown premonition in his heart. Listen to Kakashi, my glass heart brother gave up his mission to save you, right? Xuan Che raised his thumb, pointed to Hitaki behind him and asked. Yes, so what? Sarutobi Shinosuke shed a drop of cold sweat on his face, and then yelled. The ninja should have given priority to the mission. Don't think he saved me and I will thank him. If he hadn't given up the mission, the original war against San Shinobi should be over. The ninja who cannot complete the task is just a waste. Do you know how much Konoha has lost because of him? I do it all for Konoha. Good guy, for Konoha. One bite at a time. Based on this alone, Xuan Che has determined that this guy is absolutely Sarutobi Hiruzen's birth. According to what you said, you were dragged down in the mission, he should be punished, and you should die. Xuan Che grinned. What did you say? Sarutobi Shinosuke's face changed suddenly. The ninja who can't complete the task is a waste, and the guy who drags it back is a waste in the waste. Xuan Che smiled and said, "What are you doing alive with the waste in the waste? For Konoha, you should hurry up and die, don't waste resources." Chapter 4. Shut up. Sarutobi Shinosuke was angry and immediately closed the seal. To be true as Xuan Che said, it is a waste of White Fang to give up the mission in order to save himself. However, because of his lack of strength, he was caught in an ambush by the opponent, causing White Fang to give up his mission. Isn't it a waste of waste? However, why is Hitaki Tsukumo who is blamed instead of him? This point, tisk, it's a matter of opinion. Fire-style Great Fireball technique. The Great Fireball, which is more than 5 meters in diameter, spit out from Sarutobi Shinosuke's mouth and approached Xuan Che. Fire-style technique, Konoha, besides Uchiha, is best at Sarutobi. How angry, did you poke your sore spot? Xuan Che didn't move, let alone dodge, when there was no resistance, he just smiled and asked. Suddenly, an afterimage flashed beside Xuan Che, accompanied by a flash of white light. The fireball burst instantly like a balloon punctured by a needle, turning into countless sparks. Disappeared without a trace. Everyone stared at it again. Hitaki Tsukumo. Okay, amazing. Just now, what happened just now? Obito exclaimed excitedly. Look, I can't see clearly, it's too fast. The red pupils in the eyes of Shi Rihong stared out. This is the true strength of Uncle Shuamao. Hitaki Tsukumo. What do you mean? The captain of the root part shouted. Don't hurt my family, Hitaki Tsukumo responded unceremoniously. Although he has a glass heart and a good man, his relatives are his bottom line. What's more, the slap of Xuan Che just now made him wake up a lot. Are you trying to resist arrest? Under the leadership of Danzo, Konoha's second in command, Root is completely arrogant. Advertisement: the celestial dragons can be called the low-end version of Hokage world. When I said this, I was afraid that the difference in strength between the two sides had not been considered at all. Brother, what should I do? I don't want to go to jail, I'm so scared. Xuan Che turned his head to the Hitaki Shumo who was beside his shoulders and said angrily, with an expression of, I'm so scared. Hitaki Tsukumo laughed dumbly, shook his head, and said to the person at the root seriously. My brother destroys Master Hokage's Yandiao. I will compensate him in full. Can I explain to Master Hokage? Although the reconstruction of Hokage Rock is a huge sum of money. However, as the current strength of the village is second only to Hokage, his years of accumulation are still barely enough to make up for the money. Then he is also a criminal. He must be sent to the detention center first. And Hitaki Tsukumo, don't forget, you are now in the supervision period. The people at the root don't give Konoha's White Fang any face at all. He waved his hand and ordered his men to advance. This is the fate of being corrupted by power, but I forgot that strength is the basis for determining everything in this world. I've seen how easily power can corrupt people's hearts. You, who are not worthy, have swelled to this level. Xuan Che showed an idiot expression, put his hand on his saber, and smiled. Brother, what should I do? I still don't want to go to jail. I don't want to go to jail for a minute. Seeing these root ninjas who can't get in, Hitaki tangled the saplings. In the end, he sighed secretly and stretched his right hand to the short blade behind him. Hitaki Tsukumo, you want to resist arrest too. At this time, the eyes of the people at the root finally flashed the color of fear. Tell these celestial dragons, strength is the basis for everything. Xuan Che turned his eyes to Hitaki Tsukumo and said. Although I don't know what celestial dragons are, Hitaki can also guess what his brother means. In the next instant, 2 white shadows disappeared in place at the same time. It turned into an afterglow that couldn't be seen by the naked eye, and disappeared in a flash in front of the opposite root team. Huh, when everyone reacted. I saw the 2 brothers have reappeared on the left and right of the root team. Slowly retract the saber into the scabbard on his waist and back. Wow bang. Asterisk 2 when the 2 knives are fully retracted into the scabbard at the same time, and there is a collision sound. The masks of more than a dozen root players were neatly divided into 2 from the center, revealing their true colors in a straight scar from the forehead to the chin in the middle of the face. Advertisement: then his eyes rolled white, and he collapsed into a faint. Shizune. Just, what happened just now? Uchiha Obito. Look, I can't see it, so fast, it's so fast. Nohara Lin. So many ninjas with roots, all of them were defeated in an instant. Asuma didn't say a word, already frightened stupidly. Sarutobi Shinosuke shouted in horror. You guys actually killed. Don't worry, I used the back of a knife just now, it's not dead. Hitaki Tsukumo responded. Oh, brother, did you use the back of a knife? Why didn't I expect it? Xuan Che on the other side shook the blood from the blade with a surprised look. 11 roots, 5 dizzy and 6 dead. Obviously, the difference in the behavior of the 2 brothers is vividly displayed. Xuan Che, you. Looking at the 6 corpses across, Hitaki frowned subconsciously. Next time I will pay attention. After all, it is difficult to grasp the strength of stepping on the ants without hurting their lives. Xuan Che laughed mischievously. Obito et al. Oh, Zhang Daziba. I go, this line is really awesome. Now, what should these confidants of Lord Hokage do? Xuan Che came up funny, this is the veritable, celestial dragons. The Senju clan had been greatly injured in the Great War a year ago and survived in name only. Uchiha has not yet been born to Tsunade, a new generation master who can represent his family. The 2 founding families have inevitably declined. With Sarutobi Hiruzen in the position of Hokage, the Sarutobi family was also ascended to heaven alone, surpassing Senju and Uchiha in Konoha's position. Therefore, in Xuan Che's view, the Sarutobi family is truly the celestial dragons. Please stop, face the two cage-level masters who are gradually approaching. Sarutobi Shinsuke was frightened, so he had to subdue and bow his head. Xuan Che paused and smiled more brilliantly at Hitaki Shumo next to him. It's wonderful, he can still call to stop. Chapter 5. Shinosuke, take me to see Master Hokage. Hitaki Sakumo sighed and said to the companion he saved by giving up the mission. No need, help me convey a word to your dad, and he will understand what I mean right away. Xuan Che stopped in time. He never wanted to see Sarutobi Hiruzen's old face since he was 6 years old. It's the same this time. Xuan Che bowed his waist and whispered something in Sarutobi Shinosuke's ear. Immediately afterwards, Sarutobi Shinosuke's expression changed suddenly. Don't worry about the compensation method, brother, I will handle it myself, don't be stupid to commit suicide. Xuan Che cast a contemptuous look at his brother. Hitaki Sakumo looked guilty. The thought of suicide is the impulse caused by his glass heart attack in the heat of his head. As long as you can calm down, you won't have such foolish thoughts again. I'm going back. Xuan Che turned around and prepared to go back to his hut on the outskirts. He has lived there for 20 years. Wait, Xuan Che, it's a rare visit, let's have a meal together. Hitaki Sakumo retained the road. Alright, there is something, I want to tell you too. Xuan Che hesitated for a few seconds, nodded and agreed, then said. But come to my house to eat. Half an hour later, in the Hokage office of the administration building. We are not important to you, but your enemy is very important to you without us. Sarutobi Shinosuke led the Sarutobi tribesmen who had previously provoked Hitaki Sakumo. Their legs trembled, and at the same time, there was a look of fear in their eyes. Advertisement, Dad. No, Mr. Hokage, Hitaki Xuan Che. Just tell us to convey this sentence to you. That S-level ninjutsu power knife almost swept past their foreheads. This kind of terrifying feeling is something that many ninjas are unlikely to experience in their lifetime. The enemy does not have us, it is very important to you. Sarutobi Hiruzen lowered the cigarette stick from his mouth and repeated the second half of this sentence in a low voice. Immediately afterwards, Sarutobi Hiruzen got up again, and was blown into powder by the sword gas behind him, and looked at his own Yandiao who was now vacant. Among the 7 Hokages in history appeared in the original book. Sarutobi Hiruzen's strength, I'm afraid it can only barely compare with Hitaki. But in terms of political level or play with yin, I'm afraid his teacher Senju Tobarama can't play with him. After all, although Senju Tobarama is also a good hand at insidious tricks, he still can't do as no limit as his 2 disciples. Xuan Che asked Sarutobi Shinosuke to convey to Sarutobi Hiruzen, there is only this simple sentence. But there are already a lot of meanings conveyed. Well, you can retreat, and, Shinosuke, don't continue to do the things Danzo told you to do. Sarutobi Hiruzen pointed out. Sarutobi Shinjizuki's eyebrow jumped, and after replied, yes. With a bunch of dog legs, he turned and left Hokage's office. Xuan Che. Next to the Yandiao of Sarutobi Hiruzen's own teacher Senju Tobarama, his Yandiao was blown out of a big hole, and fell into memory for a while. The entire Konoha shinobi circle regards Xuan Che as 10,000 years genin of the same level as might. But they forgot that Xuan Che was the same as Konoha Sannin, Tsunade, Orochimaru, and Jiraiya today. A genius who graduated from ninja school just 1 year after enrolling. Only a few people such as Sarutobi Hiruzen still remember it. At that time, Sarutobi Hiruzen was in Hokage's position, and the skin drum was not hot. The Senju, Uchiha and other big clans are very dissatisfied with Sarutobi Hiruzen taking over the position of 3rd Hokage, and they have been eyeing them. It's just that this is the legacy of Senju Tobarama. Coupled with Senju at the time, Uchiha didn't have a cage-level rush. Advertisement, so I had to give up. The Hitaki family is a small family. But the patriarch at that time gave birth to 2 patriarchs. It is now Hitaki Shumao and Hitaki Xuan Che. At the time, the 11-year-old Hitaki Sakumo was already very sharp, and he was simply another Uchiha Itachi. And Xuan Che even showed a talent that faintly beats his brother. The 2 brothers are called the double blades of the Hitaki family. People can't help but think of the 2 Hokage brothers Senju Hashirama and Senju Tobarama. Konoha at that time all claimed that 4th Hokage was very likely to be born between the 2 brothers. This makes Sarutobi Hiruzen very uneasy. Because of the Sengoku period, the Hitaki family and the Sarutobi family were in a hostile relationship. Patriarch Hitaki's father, the grandfather of Hitaki Sakumo and Xuan Che, was killed by Sarutobi Hiruzen's father, Sarutobi Sasuke. These 2 brothers are the most upset of Sarutobi Hiruzen, who was unsteady in Hokage's position, except for Senju and Uchiha. At the time, Sarutobi Hiruzen adopted a 4-person group that will graduate early. Let Tsunade, Orochimaru, and Jiraiya be his disciples. The purpose of accepting Tsunade as a disciple was to appease and win over the Senju family. Orochimaru is Sarutobi Hiruzen's talent, and Jiraiya is purely to squeeze Xuan Che away. Because when they were in school, Xuan Che and Tsunade walked a little closer. This also makes Sarutobi Hiruzen extremely disturbed. After that, Xuan Che repeatedly refused to take the Chunin exam and moved to the outskirts of Konoha, living a seemingly uncontested life. But now, Looking at the deep ravine cut out by the sword at Haoshan, Sarutobi Hiruzen took another heavy puff of his cigarette. It seems that you haven't slackened your cultivation in the past few years, Xuan Che. P.S. If you think this book is okay, please don't forget to vote. The new issue of Filu decides the life and death of a book, thank you. Chapter 6 On the outskirts of Konoha, at Xuan Che's cabin. Kakashi has fallen asleep in the house, and beside the farmland, a bonfire was burning. The brothers Hitaki Tsukumo and Xuan Che sit on both sides of the bonfire and replace the trunks of chairs. The last time you went back to the village, how many years ago, I almost forgot. The light reflected on Hitaki's face, and he laughed dumbfounded. In memory, Xuan Che seems to have graduated early with Sannin 20 years ago and obtained the title of Genin. At that time, Sarutobi Hiruzen, who had just ascended the throne of third Hokage, personally chose Tsunade, Orochimaru, and Jiraiya as his personal disciples. This surprised Hitaki, who was only 11 years old at the time, but was already a new star in the village. Because according to the strength of the four people, one should be eliminated, and it should be Jiraiya. And just because of that, Xuan Che moved away from Konoha. And repeatedly refused to take the Chunin exam. He barely takes on tasks, and lives by growing vegetables and hunting. Even the right to reside in this piece of land was bought by Hitaki Tsukumo for him. And when Hitaki Tsukumo recovered, Xuan Che has been called 10,000 years Genin by the people of Konoha. Unlucky for me, I have run into such an era. Xuan Che holds a wooden stick in his hand, with wild boar skewers on it. After taking a bite, Xuan Che grumbled again. Early or not, it's not too late, it just happened to pass through this time period. Crossing? Period? Hitaki Tsukumo blinked in confusion. Well, just like celestial dragons this morning, my brother will always pop out a few words that he doesn't understand. From childhood to adulthood, Hitaki Tsukumo himself has not been surprised. In the previous life, Xuan Che's parents left early and were raised by her grandfather. After getting older, Grandpa also left. Advertisement. Therefore he has no burden to cross over, but what makes him most uncomfortable is that he has traveled to Sarutobi Hiruzen's reign. And it's still in the early days of ruling, able to travel to the previous reign of Senju Hashirama or Senju Tobarama. Or when the Konoha 12 Shaokyang late elders are about to die. You know, Sarutobi Hiruzen, Shimura Danzo, Udatane Kaharu, Mitokado Homura were the four-member Konoha elders in power. That was definitely the longest and most corrupt dark period in Konoha's history. Among other things, it is really no one in the history of ninja world to kill one's own people. When the external force is weak, the internal hunting moment will be opened at any time. In the last year's war, Senju was almost completely destroyed in name. And today, if it weren't for interfering by yourself, Hitaki Tsukumo's cage level is probably gone in 2 days. Xuan Che, a translator from God's perspective, was speechless. Damn it, Senju Tobarama, what kind of vision is this to choose a group of disciples? Although you are strong, your political wisdom is so stupid that I can hardly look directly at it. Xuan Che contemptuously said. What do you mean? Hitaki blinked dumbly. Do you really think that those ninjas sprayed you because you failed the mission to save Sarutobi Shinosuke? Is not it? Hitaki asked inexplicably. Xuan Che rolled his eyes, too lazy to continue arguing with this Tai Hanhan. In the final analysis, it is because you are not from Sarutobi Hiruzen. Moreover, the Hitaki family and the Sarutobi family were still enemies during the Sengoku period. The grandfather of Xuan Che and Hitaki Shumo, the patriarch of Hitaki during the Sengoku period, was killed by Sarutobi Hiruzen's father Sarutobi Sasuke. How can Sarutobi Hiruzen fail to guard against this? And now Sarutobi Hiruzen's strength has inevitably entered a period of decline due to age. Advertisement: the new Hokage candidate should almost start to be considered. Before Hitaki Tsukumo made this incident, he was the one who spoke the most. How could this make Sarutobi Hiruzen happy? Behind this slander, there must be someone behind it. Xuan Che didn't know what role Sarutobi Hiruzen played in it. But the Pot King can't get rid of the relationship in all likelihood. After all, Hitaki Shumoruo really became 4th Hokage, which is not good for the elders group of 4. There may even be retaliation from Hitaki Shumo, in this situation. It is the best choice for them and their family to take over the position of Hokage by their relatives, children or descendants. And, think about it again, now that one died, Hitaki Tsukumo didn't really mean much to the current Konoha. Because Sarutobi Hiruzen is still at its peak. Although Shimura Danzo is a group of late, it still maintains the strength of cage level relatively, even if it is about to severely decline. And Sannin, who is currently on the front line, has gradually reached cage level. Not to mention that Namikaze Minato, the kid, has already begun to show off. With so many masters, it can be said to be the peak period in Konoha's history except for the time when Senju Hashirama and Uchiha Madara joined forces. I'm not afraid of the waves, the well-deserved first village in the ninja world. It's just that in the 12 small strong period, these strong ones. Dead to death, walking to go, defecting to defecting. By the time Orochimaru launched the Konoha collapse plan. Once the first ninja village in the ninja world, only Sarutobi Hiruzen is left with a cage level. A good hand played poorly, talking about the group of elders. Chapter 7 After a few years. Hitaki Shumao and Xuan Che had a long-lost conversation. Xuan Che once again warned Hitaki to use his brain before doing things, and think about whether there is still unknown darkness behind him. And Hitaki Tsukumo told Xuan Che about the specific content of his previously failed S-level mission. Assassinate second Hokage. The war between Konoha and Sand Shinobi was at the end of the period. Hitaki Tsukumo went to the front and killed 2 John elites from Sand Shinobi's puppet team. Chiyo's son and daughter-in-law. This caused Sand Shinobi's vitality to be severely injured. Originally the war was fought to such an extent, Sand Shinobi should also withdraw troops. However, the death of his son and daughter-in-law made Chiyo crazy as if to continue the war, and he did not hesitate to develop new poisons to contain Konoha. In order to prevent the war situation from getting worse, Sarutobi Hiruzen gave an order, headed by Hitaki Tsukumo and Sarutobi Shinosuke, form an elite team. Take the detour of the country of rain and enter the country of wind. Assassinate second Hokage. There is no need to say more about the following matters. Sarutobi Shinosuke was weak and suffered a serious injury. And Hitaki Tsukumo had to give up the mission in order to save him. In some ways, failed to end the war with Sand Shinobi. Hitaki is indeed responsible, but Xuan Che said that even if this TMD is responsible, Sarutobi Shinosuke should take full responsibility, okay? Could there be so many mods if it weren't for your weak strokes? This is the same as Jinkei's failure in assassinating Chin, and many people put the pot of failure on Jinkei's head. But forgot if it wasn't for Qin Wuyong to drop the chain. The situation may be quite different. Hitaki Xuan Che, Hitaki Tsukumo, Master Hokage summons you. In the early morning of the second day, the sun had just risen above the horizon. Advertisement as always, Xuan Che put on a farm straw hat, ready to pull out the ripe radishes from the field. Hitaki also planned to relax after a long absence, rolled up his sleeves, and raised the bucket to prepare to pour the fields. A group of groups wearing grey vests and animal masks appeared beside the farmland and spoke coldly. Hitaki Tsukumo paused, and immediately stopped what he was doing, and noticed the slight surprise between the person who came down in yesterday's root mask, and said inwardly, "Anbu, did Master Hokage call someone here himself?" And Xuan Che seemed to have heard nothing, and continued to pull out the radish. Then he threw it to Kakashi, who was standing by, and said, "Take it to the river, wash it, and cut it into slices. I want to marinate it into kimchi." "Uncle, that." Kakashi hugged 2 radishes and motioned to Xuan Che with cold sweaty eyes. Hitaki Xuan Che, didn't you hear? Seeing that Xuan Che didn't pay attention to him at all. The shouting Captain Anbu felt dull on his face, raised the volume and shouted angrily. "Speaking of someone who is stronger than yourself, remember not to forget the gap between the 2 sides." Xuan Che turned his head leisurely, the moment when the face turned to this team of Anbu ninjas. Everyone felt that there was an invisible beast that looked like a mountain, leaning in front of them, glaring at them with hideous faces. In an instant, the faces behind the masks of a team of Anbu players were covered in cold sweat. "Xuan Che, don't spread your killing intent at will," Hitaki Tsukumo reminded. "I'm used to it, but I can't change it for a while." Xuan Che chuckled twice and walked back to the room to take out 2 knives. Throwing the short blade named White Fang to Hitaki Tsukumo, "Let's go. Today I have to see the monkey face of Sarutobi Hiruzen." "Go and see Mr. Hokage, there is no need to bring a knife." Hitaki Tsukumo took the saber road. "Your innocence will kill you." Xuan Che said that you don't know how Uchiha Shisui will die in the future. Advertisement. Just stepped into the main gate of Konoha village. The Anbu squad, who was in charge of guarding, supervising, sending, watching, disappeared without a trace in an instant. Anbu players cannot appear in the eyes of the public. With Anbu who guards the village in the darkness. Oh, Senju Tobarama's original intention to create this department may indeed be the case. But in the generation of Sarutobi Hiruzen, that can't be said. "Dad, uncle, then. I'll go to school," Kakashi said to the 2. Don't forget, he is still a student. However, because Hitaki Tsukumo did not die, the original book set a record for the fastest graduation in the same year for enrollment in graduation. I'm afraid it's gone too. Just as Kakashi turned around and was about to rush to the ninja school, he suddenly ran into a familiar figure and subconsciously shouted. "Ms. Nawaki." Called by Kakashi, the young man about 18 years old turned his head and smiled. "Haha, it's Kakashi. Morning." In the next second, the young man saw Xuan Che behind Kakashi again. His face was overjoyed, and he beckoned and shouted. "Oh, brother-in-law, you actually came to the village? Is it the first time since I was born?" Nawaki, Konoha Chunin, 18 years old, is a teacher at Konoha Shinobi School. At the same time, Konoha is one of the few people who knows the true strength of Xuan Che. Brother-in-law. Kakashi was dumbfounded. Nawaki teacher's sister, I remember that Konoha's strongest female ninja. Thinking of this, Kakashi shivered secretly. "Uncle, there is a set. Don't call me that, or even if a bunch of flies bother me, and I don't have that kind of relationship with your old sister." Xuan Che said with a look of disgust. In the original book, this kid was supposed to be killed in the early days of the Second Ninja War a few years ago. Because of Xuan Che's heart-wrenching sentence, "You don't have the talent of a ninja," he didn't choose to go to the battlefield. After saving a little life, he became a teacher in the ninja school. Tsunade, a bit of Brokon, broke up with Xuan Che because of this incident. Chapter 8. Hey, Nawaki laughed strangely, remembering something suddenly, leaning against Xuan Che, covering his eyes with one hand, and whispered. "Brother-in-law, I heard that I was on the front of Sand Shinobi recently. There's a guy from the Kato family who always tries to get close to my sister. Do you think What do you think? Xuan Che gave a funny laugh, and while walking towards the administrative building in the distance, he responded with disdain. I'm afraid he can take advantage of it or what? Nawaki said nothing. At a glance, you know that you are a place, and you have never been in love. Xuan Che sneered. Nawaki's round face flushed suddenly, and he subconsciously shouted. You, how do you know? Is the Kato-dan better than me? Is he taller than me? More handsome than me? Or better than me? Xuan Che laughed and said, men will never look for women who are worse than their ex-girlfriends, because they will always unconsciously compare new women with their ex-girlfriends. If they are worse than their predecessors, they will not bother to chase them unless they are chased backwards. Women are more serious in this aspect. They don't even want to communicate too much with the opposite S*X who is worse than their predecessor. At this point, Xuan Che smiled even more, not to mention your sister, a free princess who grew up in an ivory tower. Dare you bet that in the past few years when I broke up with her, she didn't take the initiative to say a word to that Kato-dan. Next to him, Hitaki Tsukumo, Kakashi, and Nawaki were completely dumbfounded. Especially for Nawaki, who is still a place, his eyes are about to emit the light of worship called faith. That's awesome. Then, brother-in-law, what are the skills for chasing girls? Nawaki shouted impatiently. It was almost impossible to write the words, I want to get off, on his face. If she has not been deeply involved in the world, take her to see the prosperity of the world. If her heart is vicissitudes of life, take her on the carousel. If she is first in love, take her undressed, and if she sees countless people, take her to the stove. Xuan Che calmly said, just like your sister, it belongs to. Ahem. When Xuan Che talked about the back, Hitaki Shumao coughed heavily, his eyes turned away from his son, and motioned to Xuan Che, who said more and more, and said, advertisement, attention, the child is still there. Xuan Che glanced at it, and it seemed that the more he listened, the higher his head was. Isn't this kid still a great magician in his 30 original works? I'm afraid they will all become gods when they're dying. It doesn't matter if you listen. Anyway, the little ghosts in this world are generally precocious. 12-year-old Obito can destroy the world for love. When the 6-year-old Haruno Sakura met Sasuke, he became the strongest woman in the ninja world, Tim Dog. These examples are countless. Jingle bell, suddenly, there was a ringing sound from the ninja school not far away. Kakashi exclaimed. Ms. Nawaki, the preparation bell rang. No, I'm going to be late. Nawaki panicked too, turned around and ran towards the school with Kakashi. Before leaving, I didn't forget to say to Xuan Che. Brother-in-law, I will ask you again after school. Seeing the two people go further and further away, Hitaki Tsukumo walked side by side with his brother again, shaking his head and smiling bitterly. You kid, how many peach blossom debts have you gotten into? Don't get me wrong, okay? I just sum up a lot of experience, not much practical experience. At least not much in this life. Xuan Che added a sentence inwardly. This is true, it was more in the previous life. But this life's awakening system, coupled with the dark period of Konoha's orthographic politics. Xuan Che puts 99% of his energy on kendo. The only woman to provoke was Tsunade. Practical experience? When Hitaki heard this word, his face was full of black lines. Practical operation or practical operation? Advertisement? But think about it, it seems so. My younger brother has lived in the suburbs for 20 years. Except for his father and son, Tsunade Nawaki's sister and brother, a handful of people. He doesn't come into contact with other people at all, and among them, Hitaki Shumo of the opposite S*X only knows Tsunade. It really shouldn't cause any romantic debts. Step into the administrative building, all the way to Hokage's office. Master Hokage. Looking at Sarutobi Hiruzen, who was sitting behind his desk, smoking a pipe in one hand and a document in the other hand, Hitaki Tsukumo stood upright. Ah, Master Hokage. Although he also added the honorific title, Xuan Che couldn't hear the taste of respect at all in his dying tone. It's been a long time, Shuo Mao, Xuan Che. Sarutobi Hiruzen committed the file and said cheerfully. There was no anger at all that his Yan Diao was destroyed. If there are other people present, they will definitely sigh inwardly. Master Hokage is so magnificent. This kind of temperament is comparable to Lu Wangshu, and can be said to be Sarutobi Hiruzen's greatest weapon. Although Senju Tobarama is also a smart politician, he needs to be dressed alone for both the white face and the red face. As a Hokage, Sarutobi Hiruzen only needs to dress up with a red face and a white face. The Pot King behind him can completely help him carry it. And Xuan Che, a traverser, couldn't help feeling that the combination of Sarutobi Hiruzen and Shimura Danzo is really a big hit. Insufficient ability, politics come to collect. Especially a combination that is responsible in the light and the other in the dark. This makes Sarutobi Hiruzen one of the lowest in the history of Hokage, and can be named the strongest Hokage. Chapter 9. Master Hokage, my brother destroyed Hokage Rock on an impulse, so I will do it. The first sentence of Hitaki Tsukumo was about the compensation of Hokage Rock. Not only to prevent things from continuing to cause trouble, Hitaki also hopes to save his brother from prison. Destroy Hokage Rock? Enough to get you in for 10 or 8 years. Don't worry, Tsukumo. I have already announced to the people that Hokage Rock was destroyed because of the spies who sneaked into Konoha because of the enemy village Sand Shinobi. Sarutobi Hiruzen raised his hand to signal Hitaki Tsukumo no need to worry, and then said with a little apologetic expression. I'm sorry for what Shinosuke said to you, that kid was a little impulsive. Child? Can a 20-year-old be called a child? Don't you know that the babies in this world have been privately set for life at the age of 6, and the 8-year-old kids in Filu are destroying the world one by one? 28-year-old Xuan Che said he was tired. However, there was no behind-the-scenes man behind this incident, and Xuan Che didn't believe it when he killed Xuan Che. At this time, Xuan Che passed on through the Eagle Eye Kendo in the system. With a keen sense of sight, I can capture the eaves of the window sill behind Sarutobi Hiruzen. The hidden breath. At this time, Sarutobi Hiruzen spoke again. However, although I claim that this matter was done by the spies sent by San Shinobi to Konoha, if the war with San Shinobi cannot be ended as soon as possible, it will not be easy to deal with in the future. Okay, here comes the point. This means that even a political idiot like Hitaki Tsukumo can hear it. Not to mention Xuan Che, you are responsible for solving San Shinobi's affairs. Sarutobi Hiruzen means this, it's really not a loss at all. Xuan Che laughed inwardly. Your son's previous mission to assassinate second Hokage has been delayed. Why don't you say it? Advertisement. Hitaki, who has understood the meaning of Sarutobi Hiruzen, offered to ask. Master Hokage, please allow me and my brother to go to the front line of the Kingdom of Wind to support Tsunade and the others. The smile on Sarutobi Hiruzen's slightly wrinkled face suddenly became brighter, stroking the beard of his chin and said. So good, brother, let me go. You are so glass-hearted. I am afraid that if you fail again this time, you are afraid that you want to commit suicide again. Xuan Che turned his eyes and glanced at Hitaki Shumao, who was beside his shoulder, with a hint of contempt in the corner of his eye. No, I was on impulse before, Hitaki said with embarrassment. Suicide. Shumao, what is going on? Sarutobi Hiruzen abruptly stood up from the chair, with a look of astonishment. If Xuan Che said that he was not a traverser, I was afraid that he would believe it. Thank you Hokage-sama for your concern, I'm fine. Hitaki Tsukumo bowed his head and saluted, saying that he did not want to talk about it anymore, and then said again. This mission, let Xuan Che and I go together. As long as the war with San Shinobi can be ended, the end of the Second Ninja World War can basically be declared. Sarutobi Hiruzen sat down again and said with satisfaction. You are the pillar of our Konoha, you can't be so impulsive. Yeah, brother, in the future, you might take over as 4th Hokage. Then I can borrow Hokage's name and prestige, right? Suicide is a shame. Xuan Che laughed and patted Hitaki on the shoulder. At the desk, Sarutobi Hiruzen has a black line on his face. The old man is not dead yet, just talk about 4th Hokage, is it appropriate? But fortunately, his strength is still manageable, so there should be no need to worry in a short time. What's more, the failure of the previous mission to assassinate second Hokage caused a lot of noise, which stained the shining image of Konoha's white Fang teeth. He thinks that being 4th Hokage is not easy. Oh, yes, Hokage-sama, for this mission, the Sarutobi team led by Shinosuke should go to the front with us. Xuan Che suddenly turned his head and suggested with a smile. Advertisement. Sarutobi Hiruzen looked at him for a moment, and even Hitaki Shumo had the same faint expression in his eyes. I saw Xuan Che spread out his hands and said in a natural tone. That's natural. Last time my brother and the Shinosuke team failed to perform the mission together. This time, we have to redeem our merits. We can't just go there. They will sit back and reap the rewards, right? Sitting and enjoying the word is like a sharp knife. Said Sarutobi Hiruzen is irrefutable. After half a minute of silence, Sarutobi Hiruzen smiled again and nodded. Of course, I originally intended to let Shinosuke and them walk with you, but I didn't expect you to propose Xuan Che first. I believe you are a ghost. Xuan Che is funny inside. You know, in the Second Ninja War, Sarutobi Hiruzen, who is Hokage, did not go to the front at all. Not only him, but the 4-member group of the elders are all sitting behind to move, sit, to, enjoy, the curtain, to success. But no wonder. After all, Konoha's genius in this period is constant, and the strong will come out. Can command them to charge into battle. Why do they fight for their old lives on the front line? Oh, yes, Master Hokage, there seems to be a mouse in your office. Before leaving, Xuan Che said suddenly. Sarutobi Hiruzen and Hitaki Tsukumo looked startled at the same time. Just listen to Xuan Che jokingly, but don't worry too much, mice can't adapt to the light, they can only stay in the mouse den for the rest of their lives. Chapter 10 Less, More, Nothing, More People 5 Accumulate several people rewards. More rewards hit 0001 accumulation. More fair comments. More flowers 0052 Chapter 11 Bang, when the door is closed, only Sarutobi Hiruzen is left in the huge office. About half a minute later, Sarutobi Hiruzen said quietly. It seems that Xuan Che's perception ability is also top-notch, not only sword skills. When talking about this, the pupils of Sarutobi Hiruzen's pupils shifted slightly to the eaves of the next window, and said in a deep voice. I can detect you, Danzo. A dark shadow leapt over from the window, and it was Danzo, the head of the root. But in the impression of Xuan Che, the Danzo, who was on crutches and wrapped all over his body, was completely different from that of a Zongzi. At this moment, Danzo is also wearing a gray vest uniform with a shinobi sword behind his back. Standard Anbu dress. At the moment, Hashirama cells in a person with an arm full of Sharingan have not been transplanted, and it is a little bit human-like. It's not like the state of being not a person or a ghost. However, Shimura Danzo, who is the same age as Sarutobi Hiruzen, still barely maintains the strength of Kage level. This is the most critical. Although this state may not be maintained for 2 years. Otherwise, I will not be eager to turn myself into the later virtue. That kid is good at talking. Although Danzo remained calm on the surface, his clenched fists and the looming burst of blue veins on his forehead. It is everywhere that his anger is also on the verge of its limit. Describe yourself as a mouse? Damn brat, calm down, Danzo. Sarutobi Hiruzen saw Danzo's anger at a glance for this friend who had known each other almost from the time he spoke, and calmly said. Where there is light, there must be darkness. For Konoha, you actively choose to hide in the darkness and protect the village silently, making you a well-deserved hero. After Sarutobi Hiruzen said a good thing, Danzo's anger finally subsided. Danzo thought of another thing. Like Sarutobi Hiruzen, a grinning smile appeared on his wrinkled face. But don't worry, although Hitaki Tsukumo is not dead, he won't even think about doing Hokage's position. Danzo spread out his hands and said with an expression of successful conspiracy. Advertisement. Because of his reasons, the things that led to the defeat of the war with Sand Shinobi have spread throughout the ninja circle, and he has lost the hearts of the people. Sure enough, you instigated a lot behind Shinosuke's actions, right? Sarutobi Hiruzen sighed and lighted the extinguished pipe again. Isn't this exactly what you expected? Hiruzen, is it possible that you want to sit back and watch Hitaki take your place, instead of letting your own sons and disciples come? Danzo asked rhetorically. Yes, the rumors were spread by Danzo. Including the instigation of Sarutobi Shinosuke to use language to insult Hitaki Tsukumo. Shuo Mao almost committed suicide. Sarutobi Hiruzen aggravated his deep voice. Danzo almost burst out laughing. If you disagree, can this rumor be created? To be held accountable, Sarutobi Shinosuke, who is dragging his feet, is at least half of the blame. It doesn't matter without White Fang. The victory of Konoha in this war is inevitable. Danzo smiled lightly. Anyway, Konoha had many geniuses during this period. It's okay to die 1 or 2. Sarutobi Hiruzen stopped answering. To be honest, he didn't mean to kill White Fang, but he really wanted to discredit his reputation and prevented him from being promoted to the position of Hokage. In Sarutobi Hiruzen's heart, the best person to take over is his son, Shinosuke or Asuma. Next is the disciple Orochimaru or Jiraiya. Originally Tsunade was also one of the candidates. However, last year, the Senju clan was in the war because of Konoha's intelligence, mistakes, and now the entire clan is almost in name only. This caused the relationship between Tsunade and Sarutobi Hiruzen to drop to a freezing point. Tsunade is no longer among the candidates. All in all, I can do it for a few more years. Tell your people to stop spreading those rumors. Sarutobi Hiruzen took a pipe and slowly exhaled a sip of smoke. Oh, that's fine, anyway, the goal has been achieved. It would be impossible to force the guy White Fang to commit suicide. I just called the person back. Danzo disappeared into the office with the body flicker technique. Advertisement, however, he silently remembered Hitaki Xuan Che in his heart. This kid dared to say that to himself. That person is White Fang. Yes, the war between us and Sand Shinobi should have ended. It was because of his failed mission that the war broke out for the second time. It's Konoha's sinner. Yes, why didn't Master Hokage arrest him? Brothers Xuan Che and Hitaki Shumo walked all the way from the administrative building to the entrance of the village. Anyone wearing a vest Konoha Shinobi must whisper something like this. It's just that the sound of this discussion is not high or low, just barely enough for Hitaki Tsukumo to hear. This is really real, brother. Xuan Che walked into a meatball shop and sat down, smiling at Hitaki Tsukumo. You who have made countless credits for Konoha, because once your responsibility is not your mission failure, you have been scolded as a sinner through the ages, ha ha ha. Because of a failure, the previous feats seem to cease to exist. Another group of white-eyed wolves, plus those 4 old immortal reigns. Xuan Che suddenly felt that Orochimaru had launched Konoha to collapse in the original work. Could it be that he could see through the leadership of the elders that Konoha would be finished by them sooner or later? So he didn't hesitate to launch the master killing plan, just to let Konoha break first and then stand, regain his life? I'm going. Uncle Snake is working hard. Hitaki Tsukumo smiled bitterly and shook his head, then his eyes suddenly became solemn and asked. Xuan Che, you were in Master Hokage's office just now and asked Shinosuke to act with us. What did you want to do? What are you doing? I just want more helpers. Xuan Che picked up a bunch of meatballs, undercut and responded. Hitaki's expression turned into a husky. Ghosts believe you. Chapter 12 The prime residential area of Konoha Village, the land of the Senju clan. Like the Uchiha clan, the Senju clan emblem is printed on the walls on both sides. But now it looks vast and empty. Last year, the Konoha intelligence department's mistakes caused the Senju family's ninjas to be almost completely wiped out. Many houses are in an empty state. I believe it will not take long. The Konoha management will ask the Senju clan to see the clan land and confiscate it, and then divide the remaining Senju clan to live in different areas of the village and cut off contact. In this way, the Senju clan will really exist in name only. But for now, at least the Kage level of Tsunade has not left Konoha, and Senju Nuwaki, the grandson of Senju Hashirama, is still alive. No matter how the Sarutobi Hiruzen gang say, they dare not publicly rectify Senju. You still have to save a little bit of face. Brother-in-law, I heard some bad rumors at school today. In the residence of the patriarch Senju, Nawaki filled Xuan Che with a glass of wine and said. At this time, he wasn't in the mood to pick Xuan Che's green pepper cheats. Tell Xuan Che some rumors between the teacher ninja at school today. And what Xuan Che and Hitaki Shumao heard on the street during the day are basically inseparable. It was nothing more than, all because of the failure of the White Fang mission, so that the war could not be over. White Fang is Konoha's sinner. Ninja who can't complete the mission is just a waste, and a series of remarks. It's too much, don't they know how much Master Shumao has done for the village? It was criticized just because of a failed mission, too much? Nawaki said indignantly. Xuan Che was not in a hurry to pick up dishes. After taking a sip of his drink, he smiled lightly. This is the reality. Shamelessness is never something that does not require any responsibility, especially when a group of people play together and the law does not blame the others. My sister used to like to tell me about the beauty of Grandpa Hashirama and Grandpa Tobarama when they were Hokage, but now I can't feel it at all. Nawaki pursed her dry lips, drank the liquor in the glass, and smiled bitterly. To be honest, I'm a little bit wanting to defect. Advertisement? Defection? Hearing these two words, Xuan Che was immediately happy and smiled. Who is a serious person who defected? Aha! Nawaki was dumbfounded. Xuan Che replied. For 2 consecutive ninja wars, do you know why other countries have always taken the initiative to attack the country of fire, but the country of fire itself has never initiated a war? Nawaki scratched his head, and after thinking for a long time, he barely squeezed a word from his teeth. Because Master Hokage advocates peace. Bang! Xuan Che directly knocked his chopsticks on his forehead, and said with a Kuchiki's unsculptable expression. Fart, that's because the country of fire already occupies the most fertile land in the world, and there is no reason to invade other countries. The territories of the 5 major powers. The water country is an island country, facing the ninja continent across the sea, and its trade is extremely unchanged. The altitude of thunder country is too high, and people with weaker physiques are very susceptible to diseases. Although the land of the earth is rich in minerals, the mountains occupy too much of the land and it is not convenient to develop farming. Not to mention the kingdom of wind. In the 3 ninja battles, none was actively attacked. This country is so bad that it has no aggressive value anymore. Only the country of fire is like spring in all seasons, rich in products, and fertile for thousands of miles. Therefore, every time the Ninja World War, it will become the target of other countries. Ninja World will never find a good place like Konoha anymore. Others are trying their best to get in. Your kid still wants to defect? Are you sick? Xuan Che smiled. Nawaki clutched the place where he was beaten, saying that Master, I realized. But even so, the level of the ruler is too poor. No matter how good Konoha's foundation is, it is not enough for them. Advertisement Senju has become the first victim. Who is next? You wait and see, after a while, I will send you good news. Xuan Che picked up the glass and touched Nawaki. Early the next morning, in front of the main gate of Konoha village. Morning, everyone, this time the lineup is the same as your last time, right? When Xuan Che, who had borrowed one night in Nawaki's house, arrived slowly. A small team headed by my brother and Sarutobi Shinosuke has assembled. What surprised Xuan Che was that the couple Sarutobi Hiruzen and Sarutobi Bawako actually came to see them off. In addition, there is the second son Sarutobi Asuma. To be honest, I almost can't recognize it without a beard. In addition, Kakashi also came to see off his father and uncle who never called his name. Next to him are Lin Nohara, Uchiha Obito, Yurihong and other teachers from the next 12 small strong. But now it's just a group of little ghosts whose average age is less than 6 years old. Xuan Che, I am very relieved to have you joined this time. Seeing Xuan Che's arrival, Sarutobi Hiruzen said kindly. I brushed up on the goodwill of Hanehara Lin and Shirihong, these fledgling little ghosts. Leave the impression of a kind old grandpa again. Hokage-sama, don't worry, I, Hitaki Xuan Che, will never make the same mistakes as my old brother. Even if I don't save my companions during the mission and watch them die, I will give priority to completing the mission. Xuan Che patted his own moon, with an expression of, giving a heart to Konoha. Chapter 13. Hokage-sama, don't worry, I, Hitaki Xuan Che, will never make the same mistakes as my old brother. Even if I don't save my companions during the mission and watch them die, I will give priority to completing the mission. All the people present at Xuan Che's remarks were dumbfounded. After a few seconds, everyone came to their senses one by one. Obito, who said in the original book that, people who don't cherish their companions are more waste and waste, was the first to stand up and retort. Uncle, you said that too much companion is the most important thing. How can you abandon your partner in order to complete the task? Seeing that there is no Blacken yet, just like a replica of Naruto's Obito, Xuan Che is cheerfully teasing this big boss who will upset the world of ninja in the future, of course. Runto, you are too naive. Of course, ninjas must prioritize tasks, even if they sacrifice their companions, right? Shinosuke-kun, Hokage-sama? Speaking of the back, Xuan Che turned his head and asked Sarutobi Shinosuke and Sarutobi Hiruzen father and son. My name is Obito, Uchiha Obito, not Runto, Obito protested. Kakashi looked at Obito sympathetically. The secret path is useless. Once his uncle has given someone a nickname, he can never change it. It's the same as my own 50-50, 55 open. It feels better than Runto, hee. The book Sarutobi Shinosuke and Sarutobi Hiruzen, who were questioned by Xuan Che, looked embarrassed. How do they answer? If Xuan Che's point of view is wrong, didn't they slap themselves in the face of those who slapped Hitaki Tsukumo to death for the last failure? But if what Xuan Che said is right, what will other people think of themselves in the future? Say they are all cold-blooded animals? In the end, in an extremely tangled mood, Sarutobi Shinosuke could only bite the bullet and speak first. Advertisement? No, that's right. The ninja should focus on the task. Even if he sacrifices his companions, he must complete the task. Good point. As expected of Master Hokage's son. Xuan Che laughed and patted Sarutobi Shinosuke on the shoulder, with a relieved expression looking for a confidant. Sarutobi Shinosuke and the ninjas of the Sarutobi clan behind him looked dumbfounded. Is there such a good relationship between them? You know, Xuan Che almost slashed them with a knife the day before yesterday. Hitaki and Kakashi swallowed their saliva. They know Xuan Che's style very well. Once Xuan Che showed such an expression, someone is going to die. Master Hokage, do you think I'm right? Xuan Che smiled and looked at Sarutobi Hiruzen again. This must be judged according to the actual situation. In any case, as long as it is for the village, it is correct. Sarutobi Hiruzen scolded Xuan Che secretly for digging a hole for himself, but in the end he could only give an ambiguous answer. After all, his kind grandfather's personality cannot collapse. Never say that. You can abandon your partner in order to complete the task. Anyway, it is wrong to abandon your companions for the mission. Run 2 was still muttering to himself. Huh? Girl, do you like this kid in my house? Xuan Che suddenly noticed Yi Yuanlin behind Obito and asked with a chuckle. Nohara Lin didn't expect that Xuan Che would suddenly ask herself a question. Moreover, it was still involved in such a sensitive topic, and suddenly her face turned red. What nonsense, Lin doesn't like this pesky advertisement. Yi Yuanlin didn't answer yet. Run 2 jumped up and shouted. I advise you not to like this kid. Maybe girls your age are easily attracted to this kind of hideous kid, but in fact this kind of man is the most unreliable. Xuan Che, who always likes to associate Wu Wu Kai with certain 2 pillars in the future, smirked. It's not necessary to look at the face. This kid is not as handsome as I am after taking off his mask. Who would have thought that Lin Nohara's face is not stunning? She can only be said to be cute, and the ninja talent can only be said to be a good ordinary girl next door. In the future, it will become a butterfly that set off the ninja storm. Xuan Che said this only to remind her. After all, this girl is a bit pitiful. What? Obito? Xuan Che said that there is no room for his sympathy to men. Really, really handsome. The little lowly Yurihong beside Nohara Lin looked at Xuan Che's facial features with sword eyebrows, and the white-haired hedgehog with Hitaki Shumo and Kakashi's head without any pain, and she looked at her elegant and pure white hair. Ruby-like eyes were shining, and he cupped his cheeks in his hands. The type she likes, The beard in the future became vigilant, and instantly looked at Xuan Che with hostile eyes. Seeing some nymphomaniac Shirihong, Xuan Che was also speechless. Girl, what are you messing with? Although you are in the original, it's pretty miserable. Ahem, Xuan Che, Shumao, you can set off. The Konoha compatriots on the front line are still waiting for your reinforcements. Sarutobi Hiruzen reminded with a dry cough. Let Xuan Che continue this way, he always has an unknown premonition. Dismiss the disaster star quickly. Chapter 14. Looking at the back of the Sarutobi team led by the 2 white hairs and their sons, Sarutobi Lake Bua frowned, turning his head and whispering to her husband. Hiruzen, I have a bad premonition. Are you talking about Xuan Che? It is true that his acting style is very different from that of Shuo Mao, but you don't need to worry too much. In Sarutobi Hiruzen's view, his wife is a bit unreasonable. The Hitaki clan today is the same as the Senju clan. All are in a state of existence in name only. The Hitaki family was originally a small clan in the Sengoku era. After experiencing the first battle in previous years and the second ninja war today, only Hitaki Xuan Che, Hitaki Tsukumo, and Hitaki Kakashi are left. Even if 2 of them are cage-level powerhouses, but now that Konoha is popping up in large numbers, Sarutobi Hiruzen is confident that he can still hold them down. Obito, have you seen Kakashi under the mask? When Xuan Che mentioned Kakashi's true face just now, Rin Nohara couldn't help raising a little curiosity. When Kakashi was not paying attention, he asked Obito in a low voice. I don't know, but why cover your face if you look good? It must be ugly. Obito didn't let go of the opportunity to slander the rival in front of his sweetheart, and immediately heard Kakashi. You are the ugly monster, Runtu. Kakashi responded abruptly. Who is Runtu? B*********************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************** But really handsome, that Mr. Xuan Che. Shi Rihong thought of the other party's angular face, and said too precociously. Red, that's a very dangerous guy, don't forget that he ruined Hokage Rock, and he is also a person who advocates giving up his companions for the mission. Like Obito, Asuma also tried his best to discredit the rival in love. Doesn't your elder brother also advocate that? For Asuma's double-standard behavior, Yurihong expressed extreme disdain. Her father Yuri Maki and Hitaki Tsukumo are good friends, and they know a lot about Hitaki Tsukumo. Co-authoring the same behavior, your brother is right, Xuan Che is wrong? This is Hokage's son. Advertisement can afford to provoke. Asuma felt as uncomfortable as eating shit and couldn't refute it. Everyone, it's almost time to prepare the bell, go to school. At this time, a call came from behind. Zhang Shaoqiang turned his head to look, bowed and saluted. Ms. Nawaki. Sarutobi Hiruzen, an old pipe that lit another pipe, smiled when he saw the person coming. Training the next generation for Konoha, thank you for your hard work, Nawaki. For Nawaki, who was obviously a grandson of the god of ninja, but did not inherit the wood style. He didn't take it to heart, not to mention that his ninja talent is far inferior to his sister Tsunade Haim. Hokage-sama, thank you. After all, Konoha is the shinobu village founded by my grandfather, I should do my best. Sarutobi Hiruzen didn't know if it was an illusion, but Nawaki always felt that Nawaki added a tone to the words, Nin village founded by my grandfather. The Sarutobi couple witnessed Nawaki leading a group of 6-year-old kids away, and Lake Biwa spoke first. Sure enough, he is holding grudges. The accident happened to the Senju clan a year ago. The front line of the battlefield a year ago, because of the mistakes of the intelligence department. The Senju family army strayed into the trap set by the enemy village and lost 90% of the Jonin. The parents of Tsunade and Nawaki also died in this battle. Xuan Che, who was still farming in the suburbs, assessed that the intelligence department would have made such a mistake, as if it were intentional. And the main personnel of the intelligence department is the Shimura clan. It's okay. Anyway, it's impossible for Senju. Sarutobi Hiruzen is also a little guilty in his heart, but he must speak quickly. Let Senju Nawaki be a junior. As long as the real power remains on your side. With their backs to the Hokage couple, Nawaki returned to the ninja school with a group of Xiaoqiang. When no one was paying attention, the face suddenly appeared as cold as Sasuke in the future, and said inwardly. Is this what you are going to do? Xuan Che brother-in-law. Combining the remarks made by Xuan Che just now, combined with the remarks last night, Nawaki has vaguely guessed what Xuan Che wants to do. She couldn't help revealing Yi Shenyu's signature expression of, in plan, and smiled ecstatically. Advertisement, it's great, Master Hokage, you can also taste the loss of a loved one. Although it is a war between the country of fire and the country of wind. But the battlefield is the boundary between the country of the river and the country of the wind. The country of Sichuan is a small country of commerce and trade between the country of fire and the country of wind, without Shinobu village, and it is also a subject country of the country of fire. The country of fire and the country of wind are at war, and there is no doubt that they are caught in the middle. As Paine said in the original book, the peace of a big country is built on the sacrifice of a small country. It means that, at present, the war between Konoha and Sand Shinobi has entered the second stage. The leader of the puppet army, the old woman Chiyoi, constantly develops new poisons. And Tsunade, the strongest medical ninja in the world, continues to detoxify. The two sides play back and forth like a turn-based game. After 3 days and 2 nights, the Hitaki duo and the Sarutobi team successfully arrived at the front line. Reinforce. In front of Konoha Daing Gate. Hyuga, who was in charge of the guard, verified the identities of everyone. When he saw Hitaki Tsukumo, a bit of complaint flashed in his eyes. After all, if the previous assassination mission was successful, the war would have ended long ago. However, the Hyuga ninja did not verbally attack Hitaki Tsukumo like the leaks in the village. As expected of a big clan, he has more brains than leaks. When entering the camp, Xuan Che patted the other person on the shoulder with a look on your face. The two Hyuga ninjas who were guarding the gate were a little dazed. Hey, that guy. Looks a bit like White Fang, who is it? White Fang's younger brother, it is said that he moved out of the village when he was 6 years old. The rumored 10,000 years genin. How did Master Hokage send him to support? Chapter 15. Call, in the operating room, a blonde woman with a perfect curve that could not be concealed in a vest ninja suit put the hands of healing jutsu blooming in light green from the abdomen of the wounded on the operating table. Then he took a deep breath and put his hand in the basin next to him. In the next instant, the originally clear warm water was instantly dyed jet black. The poison has been completely eliminated. The blonde female ninja unbuttoned the mask on her face. She showed her pretty face with a hint of heroism and no charm. Obviously he is 28 years old, but he still maintains a face of 20 or so. It is Xuan Che's ex-girlfriend, Tsunade-ji, as expected of Tsunade-sama. The new poison developed by Chiyo has been solved again. As long as Tsunade-sama is there, Chiyo's poison is not worth mentioning. Many medical ninjas in white nursing suits in the operating room cheered and shouted. Tsunade's expression was calm, and even a little coldness flashed in his emerald-colored eyes. The reason why she stayed here is entirely because of her medical ethics as a doctor. Can't sit back and watch the death of the patient. If not, it happened as early as a year ago when the Senju family had something wrong. Even if an old man is not killed, it is impossible to continue to play for Konoha. Tsunade, wipe your sweat. At this time, one hand held a towel and handed it. Tsunade looked sideways, and a smiling face appeared in his sight. Kato Dan. In the past few years on the front line, Tsunade was almost annoyed by him. At this time, she couldn't help but envy some B**************** D who was still genin and couldn't perform missions at all. No, I'm not tired. Advertisement. Tsunade raised his hand and pushed away the towel that the other party was handing, not cold or enthusiastic. Seeing Tsunade walk out of the operating room, Kato Dan quickly followed. He firmly believes that as long as he continues to lick it hard, sooner or later you can have everything. Master Tsunade, Master Orochimaru invites you to participate in the parliamentary meeting. As soon as Tsunade walked out of the camp, a Konoha Chunin walked up to report on him. Tsunade embroidered eyebrows lightly and said indifferently. Didn't I say that I won't participate in the war? Orochimaru forgot? Since the accident of the Senju clan, Tsunade has only performed medical tasks in the rear and never participated in frontal war operations. Orochimaru, a teammate and frontline commander in the same period yesterday, also knew this, and the war meeting had never been called Tsunade. Master Orochimaru said that I prepared a surprise for you. Facing Tsunade's indifferent gaze, the Konoha shinobi in front of him spoke in awe. Surprise? What the hell is that guy, Orochimaru? This. No, I don't know. Tsunade-sama should go and see for yourself. Tsunade thought for a few seconds before turning to the main camp in the middle of the camp. Look at what that guy is doing. If you dare to play with yourself, pull his tongue out and tie a knot. Hey, Orochimaru, you Tsunade, who had just stepped into the door, had not enough time to finish the second half. I felt that the next words and Fangzu were blocked by something back into the throat. She didn't have time to see who the cowardly guy in front of her was, and that long-lost and familiar feeling instantly spread through the cavity to Tsunade's body. Immediately afterwards, I felt that the lights of the car had been severely attacked. Tsunade was full of excitement again. He lifted his foot and slammed on the back of the opponent's instep, violently jumping. Sure enough, you be *************. Believe it or not, that killed. Don't look at what the occasion is here, advertisement. And my old lady broke up with you, okay? Xuan Che didn't feel any pain at all. After feeling the touch just now, he looked at his ex-girlfriend with satisfaction. Well, I'm sure you've been guarding yourself like jade for the past few years. There is no change in the size or shape of the lights. As the man who developed the Tsunade airfield into a tank, Xuan Che said that no one understands Tsunade's body structure better than himself. Especially during the period of adulthood, there are new surprises every day, just like balloons. It's so exciting, go to hell you, a-hole. Tsunade threw an iron fist. But if you look closely, you will find that there is a smile that cannot be concealed in the corner of her eye. Stop it, can you? Just as Xuan Che flashed Tsunade's iron fist to his side, Orochimaru behind him faintly spoke, then teased Tsunade. How? Is this surprise still satisfactory? Surprise? Scared? Tsunade didn't have a good air, but when the voice fell, the corners of his mouth couldn't help but lifted slightly with a beautiful arc. In the camp, Hitaki Tsukumo, Hyuga Heishi, Hyuga Hizashi, Naruto, and other parents of the future 12 Xiaoqiang are all confused. It was the first time they saw Tsunade smile after the Senju clan suffered a misfortune last year. Didn't they all break up? Hitaki Tsukumo couldn't help thinking, and a sense of admiration rose in his heart. Outside the big camp gate in the rear, Kato Dan, who witnessed the whole process just now, stared like a copper bell, and Jung stood in place. The towel in his hand fell to the ground at some point. At this moment, he just wanted to sing a song. I should be under the car, not in the car, seeing how sweet you are, chapter 16. Okay, what do you two want to do? Let's talk about it when the business is settled. Orochimaru suddenly reduced the smile on his face, changed back to the indifferent, cold coon, in the eyes of the public, and turned his gaze to the map on the conference table. Why are you here? While others are focusing on the discussion of the war. Tsunade secretly hit Xuan Che's side with his arm, and asked in a low voice. She knows this guy very well. Since graduating from the ninja school at the age of 6, he has not participated in a mission. Food, clothing, shelter and transportation are self-sufficient by relying on farmland in the suburbs and hunting. Let alone on the battlefield. Something happened to my glass-hearted brother, I can't just watch him go to death, right? Xuan Che tilted his head slightly and leaned towards Tsunade. Feeling the long-lost and familiar breath from the opponent, Tsunade's eyes flashed with a strange color. When Xuan Che brought up this topic, she also thought of some of the rumors she had heard about White Fang recently. A deep disdain appeared in her beautiful eyes, saying, unloading the mill to kill the donkey? Humph, it's the old way. Of course, I still want to come and see if you have done anything to sorry me behind your back. Xuan Che smirked in a low voice, and then pinched in a nice spot behind Tsunade. You're looking for death. Don't look at what this place is. Tsunade, who hadn't done it for a long time, almost screamed out, low his voice, gritted his teeth and glared at the opponent. If this is discovered, how will I see people in the future? Is she Princess Tsunade shameless? Don't worry, I'm paying attention, no one sees it. Xuan Che smiled badly. Tsunade stomped him again and hummed. Don't forget, my old lady has broken up with you. Even if there is anything, there is no question of whether it's worth it. I'll go to your place tonight and take a look. Advertisement. Xuan Che said a word of tiger and wolf abruptly. Dare you TM. Tsunade couldn't help it now, and shouted, although I haven't picked it up before. With Tsunade's roar, he immediately concentrated in the camp and listened to Orochimaru's account of the battle. Jonin was so scared that he almost fell to the ground. Even Orochimaru couldn't help frowning, speechlessly. Xuan Che-kun, Tsunade, do you have any comments? Every time these two people are together, there is a whirlwind. This has been the case since childhood. Tsunade turned his head to the other side, with an attitude that had nothing to do with me. Xuan Che was a lot more magnanimous and smiled and said, actually, I didn't hear clearly just now, can you tell it again? To be honest, if it weren't for Xuan Che's strength, Orochimaru really wanted to swallow the person who said this. This is why Hyuga Heishi, Naruto and others are so shocked. Seeing that the other party was not angry, they were all surprised. Orochimaru, one of Sannin, would be so polite to a genin? Fortunately, Hitaki Tsukumo came out in time to round the ground. Now the front line is in charge of the front line, mainly the puppet troops led by Chiyo, including her younger brother Ebizo. Halfway through, Hitaki paused, then said, "It's a totally unending attitude. That's because you killed her son and daughter-in-law, Mr. Shumao, that caused Chiyo to decide not to take your first rank." Orochimaru interjected, "Also, the distribution of one-tailed Jinchuriki's blessings should not be underestimated." Huh? Divide the blessing. Mentioning this name, Xuan Che remembered, the old man who appeared in the memory of Shohei in the original book couldn't help asking. Advertisement, can he perfectly control the power of guarding cranes? No, but you can use Shohei's power of controlling the sand. The fellow from second Cascade Shaman also developed magnet style for reference. Speaking of this, Orochimaru poked out her head and curled her lips, and said with a hoarse voice, "If you can, I really want to catch it and study it." Xuan Che said he was a little nauseous. Has it begun to pervert gradually? And second Cascade Shaman has already planned to suspend the war, but Chiyo is still determined to fight it, so he is currently guarding the rear. Orochimaru pointed to the location of Sunagakure in the land of the Leeward. Even with cage-level speed, it would take at least 2 days and 2 nights to get past here. In other words, Chiyo and second Cascade, as long as they can kill one of them, they can end this war, right? Xuan Che turned his eyes and asked Orochimaru, "Good." Orochimaru nodded in response, then smiled strangely in the next second. Which one does Xuan Che-kun want to target? Well, I think it's better to choose Chiyo first. After all, she is on the frontal battlefield and it is easier to clean up. With Mr. Shu Mao and Xuan Che-kun as reinforcements, I really can't think of the possibility of losing. Orochimaru smiled. The faces of everyone present were even more surprised. Hitaki Shumo, who is known as Konoha's white fang tooth, they can understand. How come Hitaki Xuan Che, who wears 10,000 years genin, with might, is also counted in it? But Orochimaru guessed wrong. Xuan Che's target was not actually Sand Shinobi's people. It's Konoha's person, the son of a certain Hokage who has not yet survived the original timeline. Originally, your life was given by my old brother. Now, if I take it back, there is nothing wrong with it, right? Chapter 17, The Second Ninja World War. Today, it has been 6 years. That's right, 6 years. For the original Fourth Ninja World War, it ended in only 3 days. It makes people feel incredible, but in fact, for a war, this is normal. The forces between major powers are inherently complex. You beat me today, you beat him tomorrow, and I beat him the day after tomorrow. These are all possible. The first 3 ninja wars were chaotic wars of multiple forces, and the 4th ninja wars were 2 forces in the final analysis. Of course, the more important reason is that the 4 battles are no longer the so-called ninja battles. It's completely a fight with gods. Thoroughly, Super Shadow walks everywhere, cage level is not as good as a dog. It seems that the number of people participating in the war is 180,000. But in fact, it is Naruto, Sasuke, 6 paths Madara and 6 paths Obito that really determine the outcome of the war. Ordinary super cage levels are not enough for one person to determine the outcome of a war. Unless they reach the level where Uchiha Madara and Senju Hashirama stepped into the 6 paths level with 1 foot during their lifetimes. In the previous 3 ninja world wars, there were no such powerful figures. Therefore, the war will last for several years. The yellow sand was scattered, and there was a stony ground with no grass growing underneath. On the border of the Kingdom of Wind, Xuan Che and Orochimaru, who is the commander-in-chief of the front, stand on a desolate high rock. And this is just the border zone of the Kingdom of Wind. If you go deep into it, you don't know how bad the environment will be. It is said that more than 90% of the land is useless sand. Xuan Che said to himself, "Whenever you see the terrible environment of other countries, you can appreciate the beauty of the country of fire." Orochimaru next to him turned his head with interest, and said with interest, This is natural, after all, the land of fire occupies the richest land in the ninja world. This is thanks to the land that Master First Hokage laid down. Now Konoha only knows that 3rd generation is the strongest Hokage, who remembers to end the chaos and create Konoha's first Hokage. Advertisement. Xuan Che said funny. Orochimaru just smiled without answering. He also read the current textbook of Konoha's history in the ninja school when he was boring. I have almost brought up Senju Hashirama's deeds. Senju Tobarama may be due to his teacher, and he has made several merits for the sake of face. Most of the whole story is about the achievements of 3rd Hokage Sarutobi Hiruzen. At that time Orochimaru almost laughed. However, for leaks, this has a very good brainwashing effect. I don't know when it started, their Sarutobi teacher has already been called the strongest Hokage. Even Senju Hashirama and Senju Tobarama are almost forgotten by the world, let alone Uchiha Madara. By the way, Xuan Che-kun, is the neck injury okay? Noting the bite marks on Xuan Che's neck, Orochimaru asked amused. You don't need to guess who did it. Xuan Che raised his collar a little speechlessly. Last night, after jokingly saying, "Still in my shape," Tsunade had to bite himself several times like he was crazy. It's all bleeding. Coming, suddenly, Hyuga Heishi under Takaiwa shouted loudly. The bulging blue veins on the skin on both sides of his eyes prove that he has opened the blood boundary of the Hyuga clan. Roll your eyes. Boom boom boom. Almost the same moment Hyuga Heishi finished speaking, the yellow sand ground under Konoha's army began to tremble. The vibration is measured in seconds, and the vibration becomes more and more exaggerated. It took less than 10 seconds before and after, and it was more than 20 meters high. The huge yellow sand wave formed a raging tsunami and rolled here. Seeing this scene, Xuan Che's first impression is Gaara's quicksand waterfall. Of course, according to the information Orochimaru told yesterday, 80% of the trick was the current Shuhei Jinchuriki. Ability is very similar to Gaara. Advertisement: in this war, the one who killed the most Konoha shinobi was the share of blessings. Facing the approaching sand tsunami, Orochimaru, like Xuan Che, was one of the few people who didn't show any panic on their faces. Indeed, although the cage level of Gaara was reduced to soy sauce in the later stage. But his sand manipulation technique has a wide range of attacks. With one move, ninjas below Chunin's elite level can almost all be killed in seconds. This is also the reason why other countries dare not easily invade the country of wind. There is yellow sand, and Jinchuriki can kill a group of miscellaneous fish with one move. Orochimaru and others, who have been fighting sand shinobi for several years, have long known how to resist Quangsha's offensive. With the index fingers of both hands clasped together, he was ready to launch Earth style to make a defense wall. Let me do it. However, Xuan Che prevented Orochimaru from moving, walked up to him, and gently put his right hand on the handle of the knife. Hey, Xuan Che-kun, who doesn't care about anything, would actually take the initiative. Orochimaru raised his eyebrows and teased, but also put down Ji-in's hands. And the many ninjas of Konoha who were preparing to perform Earth style with Orochimaru below saw that Orochimaru had not given an order. They couldn't help but look up curiously. I also saw Xuan Che pressing his hand on the handle of the knife. It's all here. If you don't do anything, it's a trip for nothing. Xuan Che slowly took out the moral blade from his waist. Compared with the old brothers, White Fang, it is not a famous sword. But there is no difference. After all, the casting technology in the Hokage world has reached the level of the pirate world. Orochimaru's Kusunaru sword is already at the ceiling level. When Xuan Che said this, the blade had been drawn by 3 points. At the moment when the words completely fell, he suddenly pulled out the remaining blade. Next to Orochimaru, there are other Konoha shinobi below. In a trance, there was only one thought: black blade. Boom, the crimson and black sword energy almost equal to the height of the sand tsunami. With suffocating destructive power, the roar tore the opposite sand sea to pieces. Chapter 18 Tear It. The deep red and black sword aura seemed to transform into a roaring wild beast in the middle. At the moment of hitting the sand sea, it bites and kills the prey in front of him. There was a stalemate for about 2 seconds. A huge gap was torn in the middle of the quicksand waterfall. The sand on both sides also collapsed instantly. There was a Jiangking gully that was several meters wide and stretched hundreds of meters in front of Shahai. And at the moment when Shahai was cut open, an old man dressed as a monk changed his expression drastically. He didn't expect that at such a distance, his own quicksand waterfall would be broken. Although there is no telescope, but through seeing and hearing, he perceives the huge chakra body that only Jinchuriki can possess. Xuan Che secretly said in his heart. Is that Gaara's predecessor one-tailed Jinchuriki sharing blessing? Snapped. In the blink of an eye, the blessed hands were tightly closed again. A mini Shuhei who was just over 3 meters tall opened his arms in front of him. The strongest absolute defense, the shield of the crane. Puff. The sword energy that had just penetrated the quicksand waterfall, this time hit the more defensive shield of the crane. It seems a little bit powerless. After immersing in about half of the depth of the shield of the crane, it was finally completely resisted. Although it is not a perfect Jinchuriki, it can be considered as Shozoru's approval. Is the use of sand more or less than Gaara? Xuan Che held up the knife with a chuckle. The armament hockey on the blade gradually faded, returning to the normal color of the blade. Orochimaru, who had witnessed the whole process before and after, saw this scene, and his eyes trembled fiercely. What is that? The secret technique of the Hitaki clan. Advertisement or blood succession boundary? Never heard of it. The cage level of Orochimaru is still so, let alone those dragon sets below that don't even deserve their names. Gang, what was that just now? Slash. How does it compare to White Fang? No, not worse than White Fang. If you talk about long-range attack ability, I'm afraid it's still above White Fang. Isn't he 10,000 years genin? The knife just now, did it turn black? Black knife, Konoha's black knife? Konoha black knife. Shocked and out of control voices sounded one after another in Konoha's army. Even the fathers of the next 12 Shaoqiang will find it difficult to remain calm. Yamanaka Hai swallowed a spit. The distance is so far, not only did he break the blessing of the quicksand waterfall, but also forced him to resort to the shield of the crane. Black knife, White Fang and black knife? The fat on Akamichi Dings's face flicked with fright, and the two brothers Hitaki Tsukumo and Hitaki Xuan Che, whose eyes were on the front, turned continuously. Naraluju, the leader of the three in the brainy school, also said in a deep tone. Both brothers are cage-level tycoons, White Fang and Black Knife. The rumors that I heard when I was young are really true. When Naraluju said this, everyone immediately fell into memories. Remember, that was when they had not yet entered the ninja school. I have heard of the two geniuses of the Hitaki family. And these years, because Xuan Che did not appear in public view at all. I don't know when, it has been crowned with the name, 10,000 years genin. Who gave the name? Isn't it blind? Obviously it is a monster through and through. At this time, the sand sea on the opposite side completely collapsed, and the army of sand shinobi hidden behind it was also shown in the eyes of the Konoha shinobi army. The slash just now, was it Konoha's White Fang? Advertisement among the sand shinobi army, an old woman with white hair yelled in a sharp voice. In the next second, short arms waved, and the thin chakra threads of 10 fingers emerge. Each one is connected to a white puppet. It is said that only these 10 puppets can destroy the 10 people in a village near Song. White Fang. Take your life, Chio roared, and took the initiative to rush to the forefront. Calm down, sister, the feat just now should not have been made by White Fang. Ebizo at the back said that the sword aura he had just now felt completely different from that of White Fang. It was very likely that he was another master of swordsmanship, and he had to be careful. However, the mere mention of the name of Konoha's White Fangtooth is enough to make Chio lose his composure. Madly rushed towards the opponent. In desperation, Ebizo had to wave his hand to give an order, indicating that the Sand Shinobi army at the rear would charge immediately behind him. I saw that there were fewer wrinkles than I remembered, but it was not far behind the little old woman who came running here. Xuan Che laughed and said, "Ha ha ha, brother, the vengeful woman is terrible, especially the old woman. This opponent is left to you." The lower Hitaki Tsukumo gave a wry smile, his aura suddenly changed. In an instant, Hitaki Shumao turned into a blue flash and suddenly appeared in front of Chio. Hitaki Stream, Lightning Flash, Konoha's White Fang. The enemy who killed his son and daughter-in-law was in front of him. Chio's eyes were bloodshot, and he only wanted to kill the man in front of him. With the confrontation between Hitaki Tsukumo and Chio, the two main players, thousands of troops in the rear collided with each other. But in a flash, the smell of blood permeated the entire battlefield. Well, everyone works hard. Xuan Che still stood on top of the high rock, calmly watching the battlefield below. It seems to be a battlefield of flesh and blood, but a funny movie. However, as long as you observe carefully, you will find that Xuan Che's gaze even shifts to the position of the Sarutobi clan intentionally or unintentionally. Chapter 19. The Hitaki Flow Knife Method, plus the improved version of the lightning style technique that Uchiha Sasuke and future Uchiha Sasuke have undergone changes in form, are attached to the knife. This is Hitaki's basic fighting method. The future development of Reikiri by Kakashi is also largely borrowed from his father. It's just a comparison with Chidori, who concentrates the destructive power of lightning style completely on his hands. Hitaki Tsukumo's lightning style is more like the lightning style chakra mode passed down from generation to generation by Cloud Shinobi Reikage, which can cover the entire arm and blade. The power is more violent, and it consumes more chakra. Xuan Che, be careful of the top. In the gap between the battle with Chio, the focus of Hitaki's eyes shifted back. Found a layer of sand clouds formed on top of the high rocks behind Xuan Che's head, shouting for reminders. Xuan Che, who is concerned about the Sarutobi family's movements, hears his brother's call. With a calm expression, he raised his head and looked at the sand clouds blocking the sun. During the war, you were still half-hearted and half-hearted? The half of the body that divides the blessing emerges from it, and he speaks indifferently. The surrounding sand clouds ejected endless bullet-sized spots of sand like rainstorms. Sand Shiyu. Xuan Che turned his body slightly, avoiding Sand Shiyu's attack with the smallest amount. The expression of blessing in the sky changed suddenly. What an amazing perception and body flexibility. A sword that lacks flexibility cannot be made strong. Xuan Che suddenly drew out his saber and swiped a flying slash with a flat backhand. Puff, the blessed body was chopped in half along with the cloud of sand floating above. However, in the next second, Fenfu's body also turned into yellow sand, and fell along with the sand flowing in the air. Sand clone. Xuan Che said calmly. Immediately afterwards, Xuan Che turned his wrist, causing the knife to turn a sword flower in his palm, and then pierced back to the right with his backhand. Instantly hit an eyeball floating in the air, hidden in the flying sand. The cheating ninjutsu that Gaara and his father would use, the third eye. Found it, in a dark corner of the battlefield, the blessings covered his eyeballs. Advertisement: although the third eye is damaged, it will not damage the eyes of the body. But the sharp sword just now made him feel a momentary pain in spirit. The perceptual ability is so powerful that I have never seen it before. I am too close to him, and I have to keep a little further away. Fenfu secretly said in his heart. At this moment, he is 100% sure that Xuan Che is the Konoha shinobi who tore his own quicksand waterfall just now. I didn't expect Konoha to have such a powerful swordsman in addition to White Fang. He originally belonged to the long-range combat ninja, and he was not stupid enough to confront the sword ninja at close range. Thinking of this, Fenfu walked out of a dark corner of a rock, ready to pull the distance quickly before Xuan Che launched a chase on himself. However, when Fenfu, who was just about to run away, looked at Xuan Che again, I was surprised to find out. The opponent just glanced at himself with a smile, and then he turned his head to the other side to watch the battle in other places. There is no meaning to chase at all. What's up? If Divider is a traverser, he absolutely seriously doubts whether Xuan Che is under Marine Admiral Kizaru. Is it suitable for you to paddle so openly, although dividing the blessing has not done it? But other Sand Shinobi will not ignore the living target of Xuan Che. Several Sand Shinobi swarmed up, holding Kumamoto in different directions and launched a siege on Xuan Che. The focus of Xuan Che's eyes moved slightly, and the blade in his hand twisted half a circle. Drew an arc in the void. Puff, immediately afterwards, other people on the periphery only saw the 4 sand shinobi who surrounded Xuan Che in the last second, and the first level was separated from the neck. So strong. This is the unanimous idea of everyone on the battlefield. It was like another white Fang appeared. Immediately afterwards, Fenfu saw Xuan Che slightly raised his head and ran towards the other side of the battlefield. The old face full of wrinkles was taken aback for a moment. What do you mean by telling yourself to keep up? Is it because you don't want the cage-level battle to affect your own people, so you choose to stay away from the main battlefield? Advertisement, but it is too late to think so much. After all, the cage level on the front of Sand Shinobi is also both himself and Chio. Chio resisted White Fang, already struggling. The black knife can only be stopped by oneself. Thinking of this, Fenfu kept up while keeping a distance to avoid close combat with Xuan Che. However, 10 seconds later, it was completely different from what Fenfu predicted. Xuan Che only ran a few hundred meters, did not withdraw from the central circle of the battlefield at all, and attacked again. With the black knife strengthened by the armed color in his hand, the whole person turned into a black and white intersecting fast shadow. With the penetrating power that can pierce everything, it strikes like a meteor. The Fenfu look suddenly changed, and he quickly bowed his waist and slapped his palms on the ground. Call. A wall of sand rose suddenly on the ground. However, the defense that Fenfu used in a hurry did not have the hardness of the previous shield of the crane. It can be said that Xuan Che didn't feel any obstacles, so he penetrated the sand wall and pierced the entire shoulder with the blade. Fenfu endured the severe pain, and quickly Jian crushed the stone ground under her feet into sand. And immediately turned into the arm of the guard crane to grab the opponent. Finally, he barely avoided Xuan Che's next killer move. It's amazing, I suppressed Jinchuriki. A female ninja of the same age next to Sarutobi Shinosuke shouted in astonishment. Her name is Sarutobi Rai, and she often acts with Sarutobi Shinosuke. The relationship, everyone knows. And Sarutobi Shinosuke next to him swallowed his saliva, recalling that he was instigated by Danzo a few days ago and insulted Hitaki Tsukumo. Then I saw how these two brothers were doing their best on the battlefield. He couldn't help getting goosebumps all over. However, this group of Sarutobi ninjas seems to have overlooked a problem. That's where Xuan Che and Fenfu battled. It seems to be getting closer and closer to them. Chapter 20. Is it wrong? Xuan Che, who was pushed back by the arm of the guard crane, glanced at the tip of the saber. That Kai's knife was originally aimed at the Lucky Moon, but it shifted to the shoulder. Is it the sand shield known as absolute defense? Xuan Che raised his eyes and looked at the other party, then chuckled lightly. It's really good, for the first time someone can offset my stabbing to this level. Sand shuriken. Fenfu didn't answer, and waved the yellow sand thrown from the cuffs and flew out like a knife. It's almost like fighting another Gara. Xuan Che's body turned into a phantom, shuttled back and forth between the endless sand darts. Seeing and hearing the color can completely see through the trajectory of Sand Shuriken's merits. Attack, perception, and skills have reached the point of proficiency. There is no doubt that I have seen perfect ninjas in all aspects. Fenfu gritted his teeth and made him feel such a tricky enemy, not much. It is also very clear in my heart that if Xuan Che fights melee, I have no chance of winning. But ordinary moves are difficult to hit. It can only consume more chakra to use large-scale attack tricks. However, there is a risk that once Jinchuriki's chakra is exhausted, or when life is endangered, the seal may loosen. I don't have the time to think so much. The blessed palms suddenly closed together. Wow! Endless yellow sand swarms into the rocky ground at the foot of the battlefield, but the hard rock is instantly crushed into sand that can be manipulated by the power of the guarding crane. The area of more than 2 miles in a radius was turned into sand. In the next moment, Xuan Che, Sarutobi Shinosuke, Sarutobi Rai and others who were fighting Sand Shinobi not far away felt a huge suction from the soles of their feet at the same time. Keep pulling them down. Prison sand burial, advertisement. Blessed and shouted. Rewrite the terrain as a desert, and then drag all the enemies on the sand into an abyss 200 meters underground for burial. The pressure brought by the endless sand can make the enemy unable to move even a finger. Even if he is Jinchuriki, this trick basically exhausts his chakra. The reason why Fenfu rewrites such a large terrain area as a desert is to prevent Xuan Che from evading with that exaggerated perception ability. Does Gara use to bury Kimamero's ninjutsu? And you consume more chakra to increase the attack range. Xuan Che said to himself. Oh, I can't break free. Help, help. Come on for reinforcements, help, help. The ninjas of the Sarutobi clan not far away were also captured by the technique of blessing. The stronger one tried his best to break free with the body flicker technique, but the weaker couldn't resist at all, and was immediately dragged into the abyss of the sand. New help, save me. The yellow sand was already buried in the neck. Sarutobi Rai was full of tears and stretched out his hand to Sarutobi Shinosuke and cried. Rai. Shinosuke also stretched out his hand to his opponent, trying to hold him. This scene is very similar to the scenes of some third-rate love movies. However, reality is not a movie. The hands of these two people didn't even touch Sarutobi Rai, and they were completely dragged into the ground by the sand. On the other side, Sarutobi Shinosuke was completely swallowed by quicksand from the waist down. Damn it! Rai! Sarutobi Shinosuke cried out in pain, and at the last moment when he was about to be buried underground, he stretched out his right hand to the side and bit his thumb. In the next second, the whole person was completely buried in the quicksand. The strongest absolute defense, or the strongest attack flame, which one do you think is stronger? Withdrawing his squint gaze, Xuan Che, whose face was buried on the neck of the quicksand, still didn't have a trace of panic, and asked calmly about the blessing. Fenfu's pupils shrank suddenly, and a strong sense of anxiety surged in his heart. Advertisement puff, the violent slash that suddenly flew out of the quicksand burned with a black flame that could burn everything. As if Hitaki Tsukumo could attach thunder and lightning to the blade and chi. Xuan Che is the flame. Inferno-style flame control. Although he couldn't use Mangekyo's ability to change the form of the black flame like Uchiha Sasuke, he was so perfect. But for Xuan Che, who is already proficient in armed color, black flames are added to the flying slash. Effortlessly, this trick was really caught off guard. Fenfu hasn't had any response yet, and the slash of burning black flame has rushed to his eyes. The only thing I felt next was the severe pain from his left shoulder. Ah! With a cry of pain, one of his left arms fell to the ground. There was an indelible black flame burning at the broken arm. That black flame is... The eyes of Hyuga Heishi and Hyuga Hizashi, who turned on the white eye mode in the distance, saw all the battlefield conditions under their eyes, and their faces suddenly changed drastically. Some time ago, they received information from the family. It is said that the spy of Sand Shinobi destroyed the Hokage rock, the purpose of the third generation, using violent sword aura and weird black flames. But today I saw Xuan Che use this trick. Well, the one that destroyed Hokage rock should be. The Hyuga brothers couldn't imagine. Xuan Che jumped out of the gap cut by the sword energy. Puff. Just as Xuan Che landed, there was a noise behind him. Xuan Che turned his eyes away, flat his mouth and said, "Yo, Master Shinosuke, you are not dead yet?" Chapter 21. I saw the great ape jumping out of the quicksand with Sarutobi Shinosuke on his back. Ape Demon. Sarutobi Hiruzen's trump card summoning beast. Although in the later stage, it is a fire stick level thing. But in the early stage, there were also bright moments of resisting Nine Tails and assisting Sarutobi Hiruzen against the dirty soil Hashirama and Tobarama. Did you use summoning technique before completely incapacitating? Tisk, it's true. Xuan Che couldn't help but spread out his hands a little lost. Rai. Saruma, save Rai. However, Sarutobi Shinosuke never heard Xuan Che's mockery at all. After getting out of the danger, he immediately jumped from Saruma's back and knelt down at the location where Sarutobi Rai had been buried, digging frantically in the sand below him. No, there is no breath below. The monkey demon felt it for a moment and shook his head. Even if you don't perceive it, you can guess with the pressure you felt when you rushed out with Sarutobi Shinosuke just now. Even if it was himself, he had tried his best to save Sarutobi Shinosuke under such great pressure. Sarutobi Rai's kind of ninja who is not the elite of Chunin can never survive. No, I wouldn't believe it if I didn't see Rai's body. Sarutobi Shinosuke roared in pain, San Shiu. Feel the torrential rain falling in the sky. Sarumo's expression changed suddenly, and he hugged Sarutobi Shinosuke, who was crying bitterly, and quickly dodged. Xuan Che also leapt in the air, then gracefully jumped twice in the air, standing in the air nearly 10 meters above the ground. Standing in the sky, the monkey demon and the many ninjas around looked at Xuan Che, who was slashing above the sky in amazement. Is it the same technique as Iwagakure's Onoki? Of course not. This is another skill Xuan Che has gained from the system. Shunpo. In the Shinigami world evolved from the Hokage world body flicker technique dimension. Advertisement. Although both are bursts of power from the soles of the feet, in order to achieve the effect of almost instantaneous movement. But Shunpo has another advantage. That is Lingza floating in the air. But Shunpo by Xuan Che is actually not perfect. After all, according to the worldview of Shinigami, the high manuals of Yamamoto Genryusai and Aizen Sosuke are hundreds of years and thousands of years of cultivation time. A Chinese pastoral dog Kurosaki Ichigo, who has been Shinigami for 2 years, is able to surpass these old monsters, but NMD is outrageous. The speed and power are significantly improved compared to just now. Xuan Che didn't have any time to feel the shock of other people, and looked down at the blessing of the broken arm. On the left shoulder of the broken arm, a thick arm resembling a beast claw and a strange violet pattern appeared. That is Shohei's hand, and the left half of the body that divided the blessing was gradually moved closer to Shuhei. Between the sharp teeth, saliva dripped uncontrollably. By the body, it can also be said to be half-tailed animalization. Not good. Shuhei is trying to break the seal inside Fenfu. Ebizo, the think tank of San Shinobi, saw the state of being blessed, his face changed drastically, and shouted. SEAL team. Stop the sharing of blessings. If you continue, once Sho Crane comes out, he will launch an attack regardless of the enemy and us. Although let Jinchuriki be sent to the battlefield as a military weapon. But in order to avoid the runaway inside Fenfu, San Shinobi's senior management naturally prepared a sealing class. Always be prepared to prevent emergencies. Not only San Shinobi, Rock Shinobi, Mist Shinobi and other Shinobi villages. The opponent is in a mess because of the tail beast's loss of control. Originally, Orochimaru was also at war with a young San Shinobi who had magnet style to control the sand. He jumped back to Xuan Che and analyzed. Now is a good time to attack in one fell swoop. No more. However, what Orochimaru did not expect was that Xuan Che poured himself a basin of cold water. Advertisement. Just listen to the other party to continue. If Shozuru comes out, he will launch an attack regardless of the enemy and us. That would cause too much damage to Konoha. The loss to Konoha is too great. When Xuan Che said these words, Orochimaru almost spit out. This is more credible for your brother Hitaki Tsukumo. Tell it from what you are looking for. You are a lie. When did you Hitaki Xuan Che care about Konoha's loss? Orochimaru guessed well. Of course Xuan Che has his own careful thoughts. He originally pulled Fenfu into the circle of war of the Sarutobi clan. I just want to take advantage of the large-scale attack ninjutsu to kill Sarutobi Shinosuke and others. But Sarutobi Shinosuke can summoning the ape demon, but Xuan Che doesn't know it. Nowadays, there is the protection of ape demon, and other Konoha shinobi are gradually attracted to this side. It is impossible to kill this white-eyed wolf by Sand Shinobi's hand. Although fighting against Sho he was quite interesting, Xuan Che had no such interest. But this wave is not a loss. Anyway, Sarutobi Rai is dead, Konohamaru can't be born again. Ah, why do you want to say it again? Because the author of the dog didn't give birth to Konohamaru in the last book, poor baby. Let's go. With that said, Xuan Che turned his head back to Konoha Daing first. Not far away, Hitaki saw his brother behave like this. After thinking for a while, he also retracted the saber into its scabbard and signaled everyone to evacuate. The two cage levels left the battlefield one after another, and the meaning was clear. Orochimaru didn't understand what Xuan Che was thinking. But at this time, he has gradually become enamored with ninjutsu, and he doesn't care about Konoha's interests. He did not oppose Xuan Che's proposal and ordered all of them to evacuate. Chapter 22. The seal was cracked because of a broken arm. Although Shuhei recognized the sharing of blessings, recognition and willingness to stay in Jinchuriki's body are two different things, like the later 8 tails and 9 tails. Shohei's attitude towards dividing blessings is at best not annoying. Once there is a break through the seal, there is a chance to regain freedom. Shuhei will give up his life without hesitation. Sand Shinobi's people took a lot of effort to pull the blessing back from the deathline of the runaway. The young man with upside-down black hair who had previously fought Orochimaru's side. If Xuan Che is here, he must be able to guess his identity. The future third Kage. Turning his head to look at the Konoha army who has long been gone, he said in disbelief. They just retreated like this. When Fenfu was on the verge of running away, he was scared into a cold sweat. Everyone in Sand Shinobi thought that Konoha would take this heaven-sent opportunity to suppress the whole army. However, they retreated. Everyone at Sand Shinobi couldn't figure out what Konoha wanted to do. In any case, it is undoubtedly a good thing that they did not continue to attack. Ebizo said, however, the mental state of sharing the blessing is no longer suitable for staying on the battlefield. He must be sent back to the village. The future third Kage frowned. So, this war can't go on, right? Originally, the country of wind is at a disadvantage. Now not only is White Fang returning to the battlefield, but also a black knife that has never been heard before. On the contrary, as Sand Shinobi's ultimate weapon, he was seriously injured and had to be sent back to the village. He has no hope of winning anymore. Ebizo nodded his head with a heavy face. Well, this is something that can't be helped. No. Suddenly, Chiyo's unbearable screams of anger penetrated into Sand Shinobi's ears like thunder. Turning her head and looking, she saw that the old woman's eyes were about to burst into flames and said, "Advertisement, if you don't kill White Fang, you will never withdraw." Seeing his sister's face of confusion, Ebizo sighed again. Sister. It's better to report to Master Fengying. Third Kage, who has not yet been promoted to the position of Wind Shadow, suggested. His seniority and position in Sanagakure are lower than Chiyo by more than a bit, and he dared not challenge Chiyo positively. But anyone with a discerning eye can see that Sand Shinobi has no chance of winning. Chiyo is now basically using public equipment for private use. At the rear, Konoha Daing. Master Xuan Che, why did you want to retreat? It should be the best chance to end the war in one go. Akamichi Dingza cried out to Xuan Che in confusion. Around Hyuga Haishi, Yamanaka Hai and many other representatives of the big tribes also gathered together and asked Xuan Che their doubts in a puzzled way. But the title has become, Master Xuan Che. It's not bad to be someone who met Xuan Che before and not mock him with the phrase, 10,000 years genin. This is reality. Once Shuhei runs away, 90% of you will not be able to stop its attack. Do you want to die? Xuan Che asked rhetorically. This, Akamichi Dingza and others were speechless. And Tsunade stood at the corner of the camp and heard Xuan Che's words. Like Orochimaru on the battlefield before, he showed a devilish expression. It's normal for Hitaki Tsukumo to have such concerns. When did you Hitaki Xuan Che care about the life and death of Konoha Shinobi? That guy, what the hell is that? Tsunade muttered to himself in a low voice. Haha, wait and see. Orochimaru on the other side smiled strangely. This has always been the case since childhood, Xuan Che, who can always come up with new tricks. Advertisement, Master Xuan Che, that makes sense. Naraluju touched a stubborn chin and analyzed. You have already cut off your blessing, and you will not stay on the battlefield anymore. Sand Shinobi's morale will definitely be reduced to the extreme. The situation was originally bad for Sand Shinobi, and now we have lost the trump card of Jinchuriki. I am afraid it will not be long before we will receive Sand Shinobi's truce. What a joke. Naruto just finished saying this, and he shouted angrily, and immediately attracted the attention of everyone present. Sarutobi Shinosuke's eyes were red, and he waved his arms and furiously said, "Our Sarutobi clan has died so many people, we must not just end the war like this. Rai is dead. I want the Sand Shinobi guys to pay the price." Hitaki's heart moved. Sarutobi Shinosuke looks exactly like Chiyo now. He was completely blinded by hatred. "Mr. Shinosuke, you." Naruto, Yamanaka Haie and others frowned. "No matter what you see, there is no need for this war to go on. Continuing the war only increased casualties." In their eyes, Sarutobi Shinosuke was just because his lover and tribe died in this battle. But want to use their people to avenge them, but taking into account the identity of the other party's Hokage's son. The patriarchs of these great ninja clan didn't dare to speak for a while. Master Shinosuke is right, however, the next more jaw-dropping scene happened. Xuan Che quickly walked to the side of Sarutobi Shinosuke, clenched his fists, filled with righteous indignation and said, "How can you let the enemies of the same clan and son who killed Hokage-sama be spared? We must kill them all to honor the heroic spirits of the Sarutobi ninjas?" For a moment, everyone present stared at Xuan Che in disbelief. What is this operation? Chapter 23. Xuan Che stood up to support Sarutobi Shinosuke's proposal to continue the war, which surprised everyone present. "You were the first to retreat on the battlefield, and now it is you who propose to continue fighting again. Why did you tell me everything? Master Xuan Che, is this inappropriate? No matter how you look at the current situation, there is no need to continue fighting." Nara Shikacho exchanged glances with his two partners, Ino Shikacho, and finally stood up and spoke. "After all, war means death. They don't want to let their family children go to death. Hokage-sama's clansmen and daughter-in-law have all died in battle. How can we not avenge them? You say so, Master Shinosuke?" Xuan Che smiled and turned to Sarutobi's new help. At this moment, Sarutobi Shinosuke, who has burned his head with anger, has no IQ at all to think about how Xuan Che, who had been at odds with him before, would speak for himself at this time. But being so excited, he immediately shouted, "That's right, Rai is the childhood sweetheart of my father who made arrangements for me to marry me. If you don't avenge her, this war can't stop." As soon as these words came out, the faces of many ninja clan chiefs who were present couldn't help but darken, and their hearts grew a little bit dissatisfied with Sarutobi Shinosuke and the big backstage behind him. "Your members of the Sarutobi family are dead, there's no need to drag our people to death, right? When did Konoha become the dictatorship of your Sarutobi clan? But after all, third Hokage is still at its peak. Relatively speaking, this group of people can be kept under control." "Idiot, I'm completely trapped in it." Before and after what Orochimaru, who was standing in the corner kept silent, witnessed completely, Snake Hitomi who stared at Sarutobi Shinosuke seemed to be looking at an idiot. And Xuan Che is also funny inside. Stupid enough, no wonder you can't live the original. The next plan is like this. Xuan Che walked to the front of the map, pointed to the trail through the rain country at the camp, and explained. Second Cage assassination plan, everyone knows it? Advertisement. For a while, everyone turned their attention to Hitaki Tsukumo and Sarutobi Shinosuke. It was supposed to succeed, but because one of these two people was dragging his feet, the other gave up the task and declared failure. If it is successful, why does this war have to be fought until now? As a military advisor, Naruto vaguely guessed Xuan Che's abacus and tentatively said, "Master Xuan Che, do you want to restart this task?" Xuan Che's index finger slides from the coordinates of the camp to the country of rain, and then from the country of rain to Sanagakure. Go a long way, take the road of the country of rain, and then sneak into the country of wind and assassinate the second Cage Sandgate. Hyuga Hazashi, who grew up in amazement, hesitated for a few seconds before asking. Yes, but this mission has failed once. Compared to second Cage, who has built a copper wall and iron wall around him, I am afraid. The difficulty is higher than the last time. Don't worry, Master Shinosuke and I will take the initiative this time. Xuan Che confidently said, I am better than my brother. Hitaki Tsukumo smiled bitterly and shook his head, too shameless, right? Better than Konoha's White Fang. Everyone's knowledge of Xuan Che was refreshed once again. Even though Xuan Che's performance on the battlefield today is absolutely Cage level. But if you say you have surpassed White Fang, will it be too much? However, White Fang himself didn't refute it, so it's impossible, it's true. Me, am I going to? Sarutobi Shinosuke questioned. Of course, the young Master Shinosuke who performed this task last time, you are familiar with the environment. This time I will replace my trash brother. I can't think of how to lose. Xuan Che smiled kindly. Then he can go, why must I? Advertisement. Sarutobi Shinosuke pointed to Hitaki Tsukumo. For some reason, he always felt a little nervous. Other people continued to attack Sand Shinobi on the front line to attract their attention. The existence of my trash brother can very well attract the hatred of thousands of old women and buy us time. After we are successful, we can fully declare the victory of the war by flanking our two sides. There is no flaw in Xuan Che's words. No matter how much Sarutobi Shinosuke thought about the reasons, he couldn't refuse. Well, if you don't have any comments, then it's such a happy decision. Everyone will go back to rest and I will leave tomorrow. Xuan Che waved to end the meeting. Obviously Orochimaru was the frontline commander, but everyone tacitly obeyed Xuan Che's order and left the big account silently. That's why it is said that strength is the basis for determining everything in this world. Uzumaki Naruto and Uchiha Sasuke are still genin in the finale. Who dares to underestimate them? It was dusk, and it was close to the evening. A shadow sneaked into Tsunade's personal tent. In fact, it is not accurate to say, slipping. Everyone around can see it clearly. Xuan Che walked in with his head up and his chest upright. Looking at Kato Dan's expression also felt pity. In the past few years in the front line, no one in the barracks knew that Kato Dan added Tsunade to the ground under her feet. The result is still nothing. Chapter 24. Xuan Che kept pulling his hands on the thin waist and muttered. It seems to be thinner, mama lie, not round at all. Punch her, snapped. After a few seconds, a crisp applause sounded. Tsunade slapped the bad pig's hoof on his waist. I was carelessly touched by this B********** D last night, and today he was even more serious, and walked in straightforwardly. Don't think she doesn't know what this B******** D wants to do. Seeing Xuan Che pretending to have a painful expression, even knowing that this guy definitely pretended to be, Tsunade struggled for 2 seconds. Grab the pig's hoofs in your hands and heal it with healing jutsu. Too serious. If you leave it alone, I'm afraid it will be fine in a few seconds. You really want to do it? Tsunade asked abruptly. Now, in the barracks. Not suitable, right? Xuan Che had a bad expression on his face, but his other hand was honestly ready to untie the belt on his waist. Screw you. Tsunade kicked the B******* D directly. When are you still talking about meaty jokes? Twitching the hair scattered in front of his eyebrows, Tsunade didn't feel good. Seriously, you and Sarutobi old man will never die after doing this. Huh? I don't understand what you are talking about? Xuan Che looked puzzled. I don't bother to care about you, just do whatever you want. Probably to avoid Xuan Che from telling himself another joke, Tsunade didn't say the word, do, this time. The slender finger pointed towards the door of the tent, with an expression of, getting to the old lady. Even if she died, she wouldn't have that kind of thing happen to this B******* D in the barracks. Alas, life is always unsatisfactory. Doing something happy before leaving will not work. Advertisement, really do it. Just as Xuan Che walked out of the camp with a look of loss, Orochimaru's voice came into his ears abruptly. You won't be eavesdropping here all the time? Xuan Che turned to look at each other. Well, in fact, Orochimaru came over when he saw himself. After all, Xuan Che has not deliberately eavesdropped on others. When you get along with Tsunade, you can perceive your surroundings in advance. I don't understand what you are talking about, Orochimaru. Xuan Che used the answer to Tsunade just now to perfuse Orochimaru. Human life is a fragile creature. After leaving a philosophical remark, the lead philosopher Orochimaru stopped saying much, turned his head and left. Xuan Che, Shinosuke-kun, after the failure of the last mission, second cage will definitely strengthen the guards around you. You'd better not have a head-on conflict with each other, sneak into the enemy camp and wait quietly for the phone meeting. On the second day, at the entrance of Konoha Daing, Hitaki Shumao reminded Xuan Che and Sarutobi Shinosuke who were ready to set off. Xuan Che couldn't help rubbing the temple on the side of his head, secretly saying that this old man is really a veritable political idiot. Tsunade won't even say where he has hemorrhoids. Even Orochimaru could guess what he wanted to do, but he had no doubt at all. Do you really think you brought Sarutobi Shinosuke to assassinate second cage? Knowing that, we are going. Xuan Che felt that if he continued to listen, he was afraid that he would lose his mind. After Ababa responded with 2 sentences, he rushed to the country of rain with Sarutobi Shinosuke, and then detoured into the country of wind. Go around this time. The journey that could be reached in 2 days and 2 nights would take at least 1 more week. I hope they are okay. Watching the 2 people's backs quickly disappearing from sight, Hitaki said with worry on his face. One of them is definitely something. Tsunade passing by said abruptly. Advertisement, what's the meaning? Hitaki was puzzled and turned his head. Tsunade remained silent, but responded with a weird smile. The country of rain fought against the country of fire, the country of wind, and the country of earth in this second ninja war. Under such circumstances, the country has not yet been destroyed. It is enough to prove that although this country is a small country, its military strength is not much weaker than that of the 5 major countries. Wow! The rainstorm, which seems to never stop, is pouring down over the land of the country of rain today. After being attacked by 3 great powers, Xuan Che and Sarutobi Shinosuke saw countless corpses exposed in the wilderness due to the war. Never stopped all the way. Able to fight with the 3 big countries of fire, wind, and land one after another without falling behind. Under the leadership of Sancho Fish, Hanzo, the military strength of Rain Shinobi Village is no less inferior to the 5 big countries. With the hat on his head, Sarutobi Shinosuke, who blocked the forehead protector on his forehead, took the initiative to speak. Now that Hanzo has signed a truce with our country of fire and the country of wind, before entering the country of wind, there is no danger compared to it. The reason why Sarutobi Shinosuke chose to speak proactively, of course, could not be because he was like Naruto, a guy who couldn't stay idle. It's really because since I entered the country of rain. Xuan Che never said a word to himself. A strange sense of fear flooded Sarutobi Shinosuke's heart like poison. The intense anxiety made him unable to help but take the initiative to speak to Xuan Che. You mean, right? Xuan Che. Sarutobi Shinosuke's name for Xuan Che has also changed from 10,000 years genin back to his real name. As Hokage's eldest son, he was born with a golden spoon at a young age. It is absolutely impossible for him to call Xuan Che with respect by people like Naruto and others. Huh, are you talking to me? Finally, within 2 days of entering the country of rain, Xuan Che finally took the initiative to speak. Turning around, slowly put down the hat on top of his head and let the heavy rain pour on him. Xuan Che smiled lightly. Sorry, I just don't think there is any need to talk to someone who is dying. Chapter 25. Sorry, I just don't think there is any need to talk to someone who is dying. Boom! The moment Xuan Che said these words, God seemed to respond to his words. A thunderous thunder suddenly fell in the dark clouds and heavy rain. The silver ray of thunder and lightning illuminates Xuan Che's face with a smile and a murderous intent clearly. But more clearly, it was the saber that had shown a three-pointer in his hand. Cage Level's killing intent turned into intense fear, as if Sasuke met Orochimaru for the first time during the Chunin exam in the future. Sarutobi Shinosuke collapsed on the muddy ground full of puddles, looking at Xuan Che, who was slowly pulling out his saber in disbelief. That killing intent is genuine. Why did you do this? In extreme panic, Sarutobi Shinosuke couldn't help but ask this question. Only people are worthy to talk to me. When does Leek have the right to ask questions? Xuan Che laughed and said, what's more, as early as the last time the assassination of Feng had a heavy mission, you deserved to die, didn't you? Anyway, afterwards, didn't you also accuse my stupid brother of trash? That I should return this life now? Whether it is out of venting to one's own family or personal grievances between oneself and each other. At this moment, Sarutobi Shinosuke is absolutely certain. The man in front of him, Hitaki Xuan Che, really wants to kill himself. Is this the reason why I was asked to perform tasks with him? Sarutobi Shinosuke couldn't help cursing inwardly that he was too naive. Dazzled by the death of his fiancée, he didn't even think about why Hitaki Xuan Che would speak for himself at the time. Now think about it carefully, on the battlefield that day. The situation is also strange. When the war began, the battle between Hitaki Xuan Che and Fenfu was far away from their Sarutobi clan. But somehow it got closer and closer. Advertisement. In the end, Sarutobi Rai and dozens of ninjas of the Sarutobi family died because of the spread of ninjutsu. You wanted to kill me when you were on the battlefield before? Sarutobi Shinosuke cried out suddenly. He fully understood. When Xuan Che deliberately transferred the battlefield between himself and Fenfu to the Sarutobi clan. Just to use Fenfu's large-scale attack ninjutsu to kill himself and others. Xuan Che looked on for a second, and he didn't expect Sarutobi Shinosuke to think of this when he was dying, and laughed out loud. It seems that you are not as stupid as I thought, but it doesn't matter. Anyway, you died in the hands of Sandman's second cage. I will tell your father that after I go back. You are delusional, Sarutobi Shinosuke roared and bit his finger quickly. Faced with Hitaki Xuan Che, he has no chance of winning. Even the probability of escape is extremely low. In such a situation, there is only one trick that can help oneself escape from the dead. The summoning beast, his father's trump card, has saved one of his own ape monsters in previous wars. Ninfa summoning. It's so slow. Haishu Yushen 5 seals, Sarutobi Shinosuke only produced 2. In the next moment, I felt that Xuan Che had completely pulled out his saber, and the sword light shining from the blade completely covered his vision. The next thing I felt was a sharp pain from my wrist. Sarutobi Shinosuke looked down, and the position between his hands above the wrist was broken. Except for the blood splattered wildly, there was nothing. Looked to the ground again. 2 palms stained with blood fell weakly in the mud. Advertisement. I don't know how long it took. The severe pain from the broken wrist rushed to Sarutobi Shinosuke's body. Kneeling down, convulsing. The violent roar was mixed with the muffled thunder from time to time. Add a bloody smell to this country that has never stopped crying. With this strength, can you become Sarutobi Hiruzen's right-hand man in the future? But that old man's own strength is not very good, no wonder. Thinking of the original description of Sarutobi Shinosuke, Xuan Che can't help but feel funny. Although he seriously suspected that the Sarutobi Shinosuke and his wife passed the back door to get an upper-level position in Anbu. Don't think you can really cross the sea without hiding it. At this time, Sarutobi Shinosuke, who was kneeling on the ground, raised his head vigorously. The water stains on his face did not know whether it was rain or tears. The teeth clasped tightly in the lower part of the mouth had already bitten his lips and bleeds, and said with great pain. Dad has long suspected your Hitaki family. Do you think it's okay to plant it to second cage? I know he will doubt me, but he absolutely dare not make a move. Your father is very politically minded. This is the only thing I recognize him. As he said, Xuan Che slowly raised the knife, disdainfully said. But he still has a problem, and that is weakness, weak to the point of cowardice, not to mention that he has no evidence. Even if there is evidence, he dare not do anything. The sword light fell suddenly, and there was also Sarutobi Shinosuke's head. Xuan Che didn't cut the knife, but cut it like a potato slice, and cut dozens of knives. Really cut the body of Sarutobi Shinosuke into dozens of pieces. Immediately, like sweeping the floor, he swept into the pile of corpses next to him. Anyway, the Kingdom of Rain is full of corpses, and I don't care if there are more than one. This is also the main reason why Xuan Che chose to start in the Land of Rain. Chapter 26. Second cage died in the last few years? It's not long, but just in case, I'll go there. Xuan Che never looked at the pile of potato chips in the pile of corpses next to him again, and began to think about the next course of action. The original work took place in the Third Ninja War approximately 6 years later, and the cause was the disappearance of Third Kazekage. According to this inference, Shaman's second Kazekage must die within 6 years. If you go back in this way, flaws are very easy to appear. Let's go. For puppet technique and second Kazekage of magnet-style developers. Xuan Che is still very interested in playing against it. Presumably, the development of system capabilities can be raised to a level. Xuan Che turned his eyes to the left. There are 4 breaths approaching here. The same as the criminals in Conan's world. Xuan Che, also a murderer, did not rush to leave because of the arrival of outsiders. Instead, wait in place. Of course not because he has the same brain pits as the prisoners in Conan world. Rather, he intends to wipe out all the people in the future and completely eliminate the roots. However, after seeing the specific comers, Xuan Che put down his right hand on the handle of the knife. There is no need to cut weeds and roots, because the person who came he knew. One of Sonin's former classmates is Mad Ghost Jiraiya. Yes, is it Xuan Che? Jiraiya looked at each other in surprise, relying on the iconic white hair of the Hitaki family, staring at her for a long time before calling out the other's name. I didn't expect to meet you here, Jiraiya. Advertisement. What Xuan Che, a traverser, didn't expect was that he would meet Jiraiya in the country of rain. I want to come too, I heard Tsunade said before. This guy was after the battle between Rainy Country and Hanzo. Instead of rushing to the next battlefield with her and Orochimaru, he stayed in the country of rain to take care of the 3 imps. Really, the plan can't keep up with the changes. Xuan Che couldn't help but shook his head, then his eyes turned to Yahiko, Conan, and Nagato in childhood. Especially Nagato. Under the iconic red-haired bangs of the Uzumaki clan, it symbolizes that as long as they get it, they are equivalent to Rinnegan, who is ranked among the top combat powers in the world. Do you want to dig it? Xuan Che couldn't help but think badly. Of course, he didn't covet Rinnegan's abilities, nor did he force his eyes that didn't fit his body into his body. Makes it blue all day long. Rinnegan is no longer inferior to the capabilities given by the system. Not to mention that I don't know how far it will grow in the future. Xuan Che just felt that without Rinnegan, there would be no such troubles. But think about it and forget it. After all, the current Nagato has nothing to do with it, gouging people's eyes for no reason. It's too much. You who have always lived in seclusion in the mountains and forests will actually appear in the war-torn country of rain. What is going on? Jiraiya asked puzzledly. Assassinated second Kazekage. Xuan Che's understatement suddenly changed the expressions of the 4 teachers and apprentices across from him. Dark, assassinate second Kazekage, Jiraiya swallowed. Although he is also one of the few people who knew the true strength of Xuan Che before. But suddenly I couldn't help shivering when I heard about such a terrifying task. I'll talk about the specific reasons later. Advertisement. Xuan Che once again turned his attention to the big 3 of future Shao. This is the apprentice you adopted in the land of rain? Xuan Che rubbed Conan's small head twice. The confidant is desperate, talking about a woman like Conan. I have never had a comfortable life in almost my whole life. Conan blinked his big eyes and looked at Xuan Che in a slightly surprised expression. Why does this person touch someone's head the first time they meet? It feels a bit frivolous. Well, I'm here today to say goodbye to them. Now that they have the power to protect themselves in this war-torn country, I should return to Konoha. After Jiraiya said these words, the atmosphere suddenly became sad. All 3 of them lowered their heads, their voices were a little bit of crying. Teacher. Then you come with me. Xuan Che didn't say much to Conan, but turned to look at Jiraiya, kill Feng. Xuan Che didn't say much about these 3 children in the same tragedy. To be precise, there is really nothing to say. After all, Xuan Che can never tell them not to trust a certain masked man. Is that a scam? You know, the masked man is still a 6-year-old kid now. Not only is it useless to say it, Xuan Che himself will be regarded as a neuropathy in all likelihood. Hatred will only create a new chain of hatred. It is wrong for you to do this. Suddenly, Conan raised his head and shouted at Xuan Che. What? Xuan Che lowered his head to look at the stubborn big loli. The next second he laughed blankly and pinched her face. So naive, it's easy to be beaten by the world. Conan puffed up his cheeks, equating the words Xuan Che and the nasty ghost in his heart. Jiraiya, it's okay for you to believe in a beast, don't teach bad kids? Xuan Che turned to look at Jiraiya and said amused. Chapter 27 Jiraiya, Namikaze Minato, Uzumaki Naruto. This 3rd generation can almost be said that there are few black spots in the Hokage world. However, this guy Jiraiya arrived at Mount Myoboku in the 3 Great Immortals after an accident when he was a child. I have no doubts about the so-called prophecy of a beast called Great Toad Sage. He judged Nagato, Minato, and Naruto as the sons of prophecy. Ben had a chance to escape during the battle with Pain in the original book. But because he firmly believed in Great Toad Sage's prophecy, he took the initiative to choose death. Looking at the road at Xuan Che, Jiraiya has lived for others all his life. It is said that he is free and easy, but in fact, he is not as free and easy as Tsunade and Orochimaru. Jiraiya tried to refute. That's the Great Toad Sage that has survived since the Sage of 6 Paths period. It's weird enough to nickname, fairy, for animals like toads. They aren't humans in the first place, aren't they? Xuan Che said with a laugh, and then released his hand from Conan's face. After bidding farewell to your disciple, let's set off. Jiraiya exhaled again. Forget it, since I was young, I never argued with this white hair. He turned his attention to his 3 disciples, especially Nagato, because of Rinnegan. Jiraiya has completely regarded the other party as the son of prophecy. Seeing how you are alone now, I can leave with confidence, Yahiko, Conan, and Nagato. Jiraiya smiled in relief. Teacher, Yahiko wiped the tears from the corners of his eyes with his sleeves. Conan's eyes couldn't help but fall into the golden peas. Although Nagato did not speak, his teeth clenched in the lower part of the mouth had already exposed his mood. Let's go. Xuan Che in front opened his mouth slightly and said 2 words. We will see you again in the future. Jiraiya left one last word to the 3 disciples. Advertisement disappeared in the distance with Xuan Che's figure. You will actually be involved in the mission. This is the first time since the age of 6? 2 cage levels ran on the road from the land of rain to the land of wind. Jiraiya said the same confusion as Tsunade. After more than 20 years, he actually went out again. There is definitely a special reason. Something happened to my stupid brother, there is no other way but to come out and help wipe the skin drum. Jiraiya was puzzled by this answer, and was about to ask again, but he heard Xuan Che reply. I hate to explain the same thing too many times. After you go back to the village, you can ask a Konoha shinobi person to ask about the specific situation. But it's funny to say, the Super S-grade mission has caused a lot of wind and rain. Noting the mocking color in Xuan Che's expression, Jiraiya couldn't help frowning, secretly keeping an eye on her heart. 2 days later, it is said that 90% of the area of the land of wind is yellow sand. But when Xuan Che and Jiraiya arrived here, they felt it was far more than that. At least 95% of the country is desert, and it's the kind that no plant can grow. The land of wind seems to be the largest of the 5 countries, but in fact it is the smallest. It's no wonder that in the 2 ninja wars, no country took the initiative to attack the Kingdom of Wind, and I don't want this kind of bad place. Xuan Che said funny. It is precisely for this reason that the Kingdom of Wind is constantly proactively provoking war and trying to expand outward. Jiraiya, the messenger of peace, began to sigh with emotion again. Xuan Che was too lazy to talk to him about this, and quickly went to the main topic. Further forward, there will be Sanagakure's ninja guards. Have you thought of a suitable assassination plan? No, I'm not good at this kind of thing, Jiraiya said simply. I don't think you can think of any useful strategies anyway. Advertisement. Xuan Che showed such an expression as expected and started to think. Like Konoha, every shinobu village has different barriers in the village. Once a strange chakra enters, it can be immediately noticed. In the original work, the kid Sasori also arranged for internal response in advance, and entered without causing any movement. How? Is there a way? A few minutes later, seeing Xuan Che still silent, Jiraiya couldn't help but speak first. Well, let's go. Xuan Che put the sandproof hat on the road again. Sanagakure. There are high sand dunes on the back and on both sides, and a huge mound of nearly 100 meters high is built on the front, leaving only a long gully in the middle as the only way to enter and leave the village. And if you want to enter or leave the village, you will definitely be spotted by the guard ninjas standing on both sides of the mound. If you resist, you will immediately be bombarded with ninjutsu by the guard ninja who has the advantage of terrain in the sky. 2 figures stood on the high rock about 1 mile from the entrance. Jiraiya raised his right hand to cover his eyebrows, looked at Sanagakure in the distance, and said with emotion. It's not easy to sneak into the village through such a high mound. Immediately, Jiraiya turned to look at Xuan Che next to him. What then? What is your method? Xuan Che suddenly smiled at Jiraiya, causing Jiraiya to have an unpredictable feeling in an instant. This guy shows such a smile, and there is often no good thing. In the next instant, Xuan Che suddenly grabbed Jiraiya's back collar and threw it toward the front entrance of Sanagakure like a baseball. At the same time, he focused chakra on his throat and shouted with a volume that pierced the eardrum. Enemy attack! Enemy attack! It's Jiraiya from Konoha village. Aha! Jiraiya, who flew towards Sanagakure, stared like bells and cursed. You count me. Xuan Che, Chapter 28, Front Door. There is a very powerful chakra. In the enchantment perception department inside Sanagakure. The sensory ninja in charge of controlling the enchantment panicked and shouted. Number of people, 1 person, strength estimate, cage level. As soon as this word came out, other sand shinobi around immediately jumped up from their seats. At this moment, the sand shinobi ninja who passed the barrier department outside shouted. Jiraiya, one of Konoha Sannin, has raided. Everyone dare to go for reinforcements. Jiraiya. Other sand shinobi's face changed suddenly. In addition to, Konoha's white Fang, Konoha Sannin, became famous through this second ninja world war. All have the strength of cage level. Let other shinobu village have to feel jealous. Konoha really is the cradle of genius. Is there really only Jiraiya alone? Are there any other ambushes on Sunday? With a fiery red hair similar to the Uzumaki family, but with a darker color, young sand shinobi, who was about the same age as Senju Nawaki, hurried towards the entrance of the village and asked another sand shinobi beside him. His name is Rosa, and he is one of the very few ninjas in the village who has master magnet style. Although not as good as another sand shinobi that can control black sand, it is not bad. According to the Ministry of Security, no other Konoha shinobi were found, and if there are too many people, the borderline shouldn't be undetectable. In all likelihood, he is alone. Sand Shinobi trespassed on me alone. Even if I was one of Sannin, it would be too arrogant. Luo Sha gritted his teeth. To be honest, this is also a talent. Sealing the tail beast in his son's body, let alone talk about it. He also assassinated his son again and finally sent his brother-in-law to assassinate him directly. Leading to Gaara's complete blacken, Xuan Che, who was a reader in the previous life, was slammed by Luo Sha's operation. Xuan Che couldn't help Luo Sha. Is it green? Gaara is not his own? Advertisement. Sanagakure's main gate entrance. A big toad, no smaller than the tail beast, swung his ribs and tried his best to stop Sand Shinobi from coming forward. What the hell is it? Jiraiya, always call me when I'm in trouble. Toad Wen was too scolding and roared. I was cheated by the guy Xuan Che. Anyway, please help me buy time. Jiraiya has a bitter face. I didn't expect Xuan Che's plan to be so simple and rude. Isn't it just to attract firepower, and then he goes to assassinate second case gauge? Sand Shiu. A lot of rain of quicksand suddenly spilled from the sky above. Jiraiya looked up. Is that the rumored magnet style? Wen Tai. Jiraiya lowered his eyes and shouted too loudly at the toad at his feet, and his hands had quickly begun to seal. Got it. Trouble. Toad Wen complained too much, but the sides of his pimpled cheeks also bulged quickly. Fire style fire dragon flame bomb, toad golden oil. Combination of ninjutsu and toad oil bullets. A wide range of violent flames instantly swallowed the quicksand rain back. Use a sand wall as a resistance. Luo Sha fell to the ground in a slightly embarrassed manner, but fortunately he was not seriously injured and said bitterly. One of Sannin, it's really hard to deal with. Just Jiraiya alone. Sanagakure Administration Building, Fang office. After receiving information from second case gauge, the bald face with dragon tattoos, his expression also changed drastically. Advertisement. It is not surprising that Konoha launched a surprise attack on him. Last time Konoha's White Fang led a small team to sneak into Sanagakure for assassination, but he almost killed him. It's not surprising to switch to Jiraiya this time. But to say that Jiraiya is the only one, that makes shaman have to doubt. Master Feng, now most of the ninjas who stayed in the village have gone to stop Jiraiya. Next. Sand Shinobi Anbu, who was kneeling in front of Sandgate, asked for instructions. Shaman thought silently, and after about half a minute, he ordered. Don't act rashly, report to me once the situation changes. Yes. Sand Shinobi Anbu lowered his head to respond, and then cast the body flicker technique and disappeared. After all, he was a shadow person, and shaman wouldn't be as naive as Luo Sha. He really thought that the enemy was Jiraiya alone. As long as it does not reach the level of super shadow, it is absolutely impossible for one person to fight against one village. Always now Sand Shinobi puts more than half of his combat power into the frontline battlefield, and the same is true. There is no need for shaman to take action personally, and dispatching ninjas from the village is enough to deal with Jiraiya. Ahem. Suddenly, shaman coughed violently twice. A ray of blood spilled from the corner of the eye uncontrollably. There is another reason why he can't play. The body is on the verge of reaching its limit. Boom. A white light flashed suddenly, cutting off the top of the administrative building where Luo Sha was like tofu. It's like cutting a car into a convertible. Sandman, who hadn't been relieved from his illness, looked incredible towards the sky that had been exposed to the sun. A long flowing silver hair came into his eyes faster than the sun. The physical condition doesn't seem to be very good, Master Feng. Xuan Che stood at the smooth cut on the top of the wall, showing the blade gleaming in the sun. In order to avenge Master Hokage's son, I need to take your life. Chapter 29. Sure enough, there are others. When Xuan Che appeared, Shaman's face didn't show much shock. He didn't think Konoha had only sent a Jiraiya at the beginning. What made Shaman feel wrong was what Xuan Che said just now. Revenge for Hokage's son. Hokage's son should mean that he had acted with White Fang before and planned to assassinate himself. But defeated by himself, in the end White Fang gave up the mission to rescue him, right? Hasn't that guy been rescued by White Fang? Why is this guy in front of him saying that he wants to avenge that trash? What are you saying? Sandman couldn't help asking. You don't need to know too much, Master Feng, just one thing is enough. When the voice fell to the person, Xuan Che flashed in front of the opponent, slashed it down, and said at the same time. That is I want to borrow your head for use, puff boom. The aftermath of the airflow caused by the collision between the two sides was so strong that the walls around the office were shattered. Xuan Che stared at the sand between the blade and Shaman's body, curled his lips and said. I feel like the opponents I met recently use sand, it's boring. Shaman hummed and manipulated the quicksand, swiping across a huge mask, wrapping Xuan Che in it. Sandfall funeral. At the next moment when Xuan Che was surrounded, Shaman squeezed his fist firmly. However, Xuan Che is one step faster than him, puff. The tip of the knife pierced through the quicksand, and the backhand slipped. The sand was cut into a huge hole in an instant. Sand's control strength is not as good as the blessing. It seems that this human head is better than imagined. Xuan Che chuckled lightly and flashed in front of Luo Sha again. The second knife slashed mercilessly. Sparks started at once. This time, a half-human half-beast shaped puppet swung the knife to forcibly resist Xuan Che's slashing. Xuan Che just remembered now. Advertisement. The second case gauge in front of me is not only the pioneer of magnet style, but also has excellent research on puppetry. However, the puppets used by shaman are not as exquisite in structure as the Chio Jinsong Shuren. Not to mention the fact that Sasori of Red Sand uses a living person to create puppets, which can play the effect of a low-profile version of Impure World reincarnation. Magnet style is no good, Gara. Puppets are not as good as Chio or Sasori of Akasha. Everything is good, but it hasn't reached the peak level. Xuan Che grinned slightly, the sword in his hand turned into a reflective pure black color, and he suddenly pressed forward. Click. The key to the puppet's raising hand made a cracking sound. Immediately afterwards, shaman who controlled the puppet felt that the power to suppress the puppet became more and more exaggerated. Bang, 2 seconds later, a figure smashed through the window of Feng Ying's office and slammed into the wall of another building behind it. Hearing the movement, many sand shinobi who had come here raised their eyes to the figure stuck in the wall and exclaimed. Master Feng Ying, sure enough, someone is here. If you get in the way, it will become troublesome. Xuan Che, who was chasing up, turned to look at more and more sand shinobi approaching here. Booming, the blade of Xuan Che's saber ignited with the whistling sound of flames, but it was not accompanied by the fiery high temperature like ordinary flames. Eternal Flame Amaterasu. Yeah, Xuan Che swung his sword and used Amaterasu flames to build a 10-meter high flame wall on the passage leading from the outside world. Ah! Part of Sand Shinobi who rushed over was caught off guard and hit the wall. In the blink of an eye, he was swallowed by Amaterasu. He kept rolling on the ground trying to extinguish the flames, but the evil black inflammation did not weaken at all. Unless the target is burned to all, it will never stop. Wind-style sand shots. At this time, shaman suddenly made a move. The endless sand is concentrated to the size of a bullet, and it continues to hit like a machine gun. Does wind-style cooperate with magnet-style's combination technique? Xuan Che's eyes narrowed slightly, and the black knife was blocked in front of him. The dense sand bullets on the opposite side seemed to be still under these black pupils. In the next instant, Xuan Che rushed forward suddenly. Advertisement and turned the black knife in the hand with the smallest amplitude. The sand bullets that touched the blade seemed to hit a spring one by one, and turned to the other reversed. Anyway, no one hit Xuan Che. Why, what's going on? Use it, bounce it off with a knife. Sandman couldn't believe his eyes. Was it a knife or cotton? Can actually give the loose sand bomb that easily penetrates the rock too. It is understandable if it is cut, after all, White Fang did it last time. But dang Fei, this thing is incredible. A sword that lacks flexibility cannot be made strong. Xuan Che tells the great swordsman Yinyan's understanding of kendo. Not only kendo, but also the way of life, too rigid and easy to fold. Don't think I will be defeated easily. As a cage-level experience, shaman quickly recovered from shock, raising his hands. The sand under Xuan Che's feet climbed up as if given life. The next moment, it was dumped and smashed in the direction of a tsunami. The advantages of the terrain. This is also the main reason why Sanagakure's military strength is weak, but few shinobu dared to attack it. These sand-playing people use the terrain to smash them down in a sand sea. It can directly damage more than half of the enemy's army. Xuan Che did not panic about the sharply falling sand sea, but dropped the tip of the black knife and stroked the edge of the knife with his left hand. Do you want to be faster than anyone? Shaman didn't answer Xuan Che leisurely at all, and waved his hand fiercely. The tsunami of quicksand that was enough to engulf half of the village roared down like a giant whale hunting. In an instant, Xuan Che disappeared in place. When it flashed out again, it was already behind Shaman. The tip of the knife, which was originally hanging down to the ground, also leaned back towards the back of Shaman's neck, like an eagle eye defeating Zoro. The sand sea falling all around also stopped in time, abruptly stopping the action. Puff puff. When Xuan Che Taito returned to normal color, a horizontal bloodstain cracked across Shaman's neck. The blood column overflowed uncontrollably from it. Chapter 30. Before Shaman's head detached from his neck and fell to the ground. Xuan Che's right hand retracted the normal sword into the sheath, and his left hand backhand grabbed it backwards. Before the head fell to the ground, he held it in his hand. The surrounding sand sea also lost the chakra supply of the caster. It turned into an emancipation that passed away with the wind, completely losing aggression and drifting around. As the sand wall collapsed, the sand shinobi ninjas gathered around looked forward again. It happened to witness Xuan Che holding the head of their master Feng Ying in his left hand, and the headless body behind him fell to the ground. The extremely impactful picture left hundreds of sand shinobi around in a daze. In this second gap, Xuan Che's figure flickered and disappeared in place. At this moment, someone in Sand Shinobi finally reacted and shouted. Master Feng Ying was killed. Master Feng Ying was killed. This sentence spread rapidly in Sanagakure like a plague. The extreme panic quickly spread to every corner of the village. Jiraiya, when will I fight? My chakra is about to bottom out. Toad Wen at the entrance of Sanagakure has no strength to jump and avoid, and he constantly wields his short blade as a weapon to resist ninjutsu bombing from all directions. Every time the knife was swung, blood spattered out of the wound uncontrollably. Although its size is an advantage, it is also an out-and-out living target. The summoning beast does not possess the heaven-defying recovery ability of 9 tails. Sorry, hold on, Jiraiya replied with a slightly apologetic expression, glancing in the direction of the entrance and exit from time to time. Xuan Che, isn't he okay? If I don't come out anymore, I can't hold it anymore. Suddenly, the sand waves rising from under his feet wrapped Toad Wen to his feet. Wen Tai's pupils shrank suddenly and looked down. I saw a red-haired boy controlling the quicksand, trying to restrain his actions. This brat. Wen was too angry, and the short blade in his hand stabbed towards Luo Sha at his feet. Since just now, this kid's sand has been in the way. Advertisement once landed and caught, he had to take a lot of effort to get rid of it. Can handle it at first, however, as the injury worsened, Luo Sha seized the opportunity. Sand-bound Hazel. At the very last moment, Luo Sha quickly clasped her hands. The sand waves wrapped around Wen Tai's feet were twisted like a towel. The severe pain of fractured bones made Wen Tai fall to the ground in an embarrassed manner. Wen Tai. Jiraiya exclaimed, there is really no way to survive this time, I will withdraw first. After saying this, Wen Tai turned into smoke and fled back to summoning. Grabbed Jiraiya. Finally got rid of the troublesome toad, but Luo Sha was not satisfied with it, and reached out to the ground Jiraiya. Summon a new toad. Looking at the crowds approaching him at a rapid speed, Jiraiya thought quickly about the battle strategy in his heart. If you change to Anbu or the root person, you will have to withdraw by this time. This is why a few people like Jiraiya will find a way to continue to stick to it. Get out of the way, you guys. Suddenly a voice sounded from behind. But what made Luo Sha out of instinct to use the shield of sand to defend one step faster was the terrifying killing intent after coming to him. The shining sword aura will hit halfway and evolve into countless sword flowers, incarnate as Shinigami who harvests life. Sand Shinobi, who turned all his attention to Jiraiya, was caught off guard. He was hit hard and even killed with just one move. Blocked? Being resisted by the sand shield for the second time, Xuan Che couldn't help but glance at Luo Sha more. And when he noticed the red hair on the other end that resembled the Uzumaki clan, Xuan Che had already guessed the identity of the other party. But you. Xuan Che, who guessed the identity of the other party, gave a 4-character evaluation with a smile. He didn't make up for it, and passed directly beside Luo Sha. Advertisement at this time, Luo Sha saw it. Charged by his side, there was a bare forehead hanging from Xuan Che's waist, a human head still dripping blood. Withdrawn. Xuan Che patted Jiraiya on the shoulder and galloped towards the country of the river without slowing down. Hurry up. Jiraiya also reacted instantly and turned around and ran away. They killed Master Feng. Chase. Luo Sha returned to his senses and shouted to the remaining Sand Shinobi. 3 days later. The frontier battlefield between the Kingdom of Wind and the Kingdom of Sichuan. A blue electric light reaped Sand Shinobi's life on the battlefield like a bloodthirsty beast. Wow, suddenly, the 3 puppets in white clothes were in a triangular formation, and under the control of the chakra line, they flew in an arc in midair, blocking the electric light. In the next second, the 3 white-clothed puppets opened their mouths and sprayed out a large amount of purple mist. Poison? Faced with such a situation, Hitaki had to give up the pursuit? Covering his mouth and nose with his left hand without a knife, he quickly backed away. Is it a new poison? It's too dangerous to attack before Tsunade-sama creates the antidote. Nara Shikahisa turned to the frontline commander Orochimaru and asked for instructions. Master Orochimaru, retreat first in this battle, right? Orochimaru was ready to nod without thinking too much. In the past few years of stalemate with Sand Shinobi, this kind of thing has become commonplace. Every time Chiyo creates a new poison, he must use Tsunade's medical skills to detoxify. It's unnecessary. At this moment, 2 figures suddenly appeared on the side of the battlefield. One of them raised his hand and held something high, shouting to the combatants of Sand Shinobi and Konoha. Second Case Gauge Sand Gates First Level, here, Chapter 31. The battlefield where the killing sound soared into the sky, instantly calmed like a cicada. Thousands of people turned their heads and looked in the direction of the sound. I saw 2 white hairs standing on a high rock on the side of the battlefield. Xuan Che grabbed a bald head in his palm like a basketball, showing off in front of the 2 village ninjas as if to show off. Second, Master Second Generation. When the future third Case Gauge saw the head of the head held by Xuan Che. Both legs trembled and even fell to the ground staggeringly. Yes, is it true, Lord Second Generation? No, it's impossible, that's something that even White Fang didn't do. The ninjas of Sunagakure were completely stupid. For a shinobu village, it is the jade of a village. It is also the spiritual pillar of countless ninjas in the village. Not to mention in times of war. When Konoha Shinobi sees such a scene, the sense of shock he feels in his heart is not much worse than that of Sand Shinobi. Hyuga Haishi. No, really give funkage to. Akamichi Dingza captures Jiraiya behind Xuan Che. Behind Master Xuan Che, is Master Jiraiya. Why is he there? Yamanaka grew up with a staggering look. A mission that even White Fang failed, will he actually complete it? This can only show that Black Knife is even better than White Fang. Nara Lukisa turned his eyes on Hitaki Tsukumo ahead and Hitaki Xuan Che brothers in the distance, and exclaimed. White Fang Black Knife, both of my brothers are monster-level ninjas. No, it should be the Black Knife White Fang, right? Seeing the 2 sides stopped, Xuan Che and Jiraiya jumped off the high rock and walked into the center of the battlefield. Whenever Xuan Che took a step closer to this side with Shaman's head, Sand Shinobi's whole heart trembled involuntarily. Seeing this, you probably don't have the intention to continue fighting. Advertisement. Xuan Che passed the ball and threw his bald head to Chiyo. The head of Shaman is like a basin of ice water pouring on Chiyoman's forehead. No matter how hot the flames in her heart were, it would never burn again. You can't continue to fight anymore. Chio knew it all in his heart. This is no longer something that the top person in charge of her puppet department can decide. Go back and prepare for the truce agreement. Orochimaru stepped up, sneered and gave one last sentence. Immediately, Konoha all the staff turned and withdrew to the base camp. And Sand Shinobi's side, watching the head of Sandaman in Chio's hand for a long time. They recovered one by one, preparing to withdraw and return to the barracks. In the rear, Konoha camp. Jiraiya, I thought you were already dead in the country of rain. Facing a bad friend who hadn't seen him for the first time in a few years, and seeing Jiraiya again, Tsunade still ruthlessly hurt him. Haha, I have cultivated those 3 children into pretty good ninjas. Jiraiya said cheerfully. In the age of war, where you can't see, countless children die every day. You're just wasting your time like this. Orochimaru also walked up, disapproving of Jiraiya's behavior. Konoha Sannin reunites again after 3 years, but the 3 of them are keenly aware that the atmosphere between them has changed. The other side of the barracks. The Hitaki brothers, now known as Black Knife, White Fang, are sitting opposite each other. I didn't see Shinosuke-kun, what happened, Xuan Che? Advertisement without seeing the presence of his subordinates in the past, Hitaki frowned and asked Xuan Che. It's a pity that during the battle at Tsunagakure, he was hit by sand shots from Shaman and his action was blocked. Xuan Che tilted Erlang's legs and leaned on the wooden chair to make a Jeyuden, succinctly giving 2 words. Died. Just after cleaning the battlefield, the Ino Shikacho trio who happened to pass by heard these 2 words from Xuan Che's mouth. Naruto paused and motioned for the 2 partners to pause temporarily. Did you not save him? Hitaki asked subconsciously. Last time you rescued him, what ended? Xuan Che asked Hitaki's rhetorically. Hitaki asked immediately and was speechless. This is also Shinosuke's wish, didn't he say it himself? Ninjas who can't complete the task are waste. Xuan Che took out a pot of rice wine he picked up on the way back to the barracks from the Kingdom of Wind, poured it a few sips, and threw it to Hitaki Shumodao. Isn't this very good? He died not as a waste, but as a Konoha hero. He will be engraved on the memorial monument as a hero. What an honor this is. When he said this, Xuan Che almost laughed himself. What glory is there to speak of when they're dead? Is the original Namikaze Minato glorious enough? What is his son's treatment? Hitaki Tsukumo took the jug thrown by Xuan Che. After a long silence, he took a few sips into the throat. Well, maybe. Xuan Che is right. This idiot, don't you really believe it? Seeing his stupid Onilian look, he didn't have the slightest doubt. Xuan Che couldn't help but think inwardly, Chapter 32. Dead, are you dead? Hokage-sama's eldest son. Hearing the conversation of the Hitaki brothers, Akamichi Dingza's fat face dripped with cold sweat. His name for Sarutobi Shinosuke is also, son of Lord Hokage. It is enough to show that he, or the big clans of them, the impression of Sarutobi Shinosuke is only his life experience, not his talent as a ninja. Just like Senju Tobarama, people will say it is the first speed in the ninja world, not the younger brother of the god of ninja. Ordinary Jonin's strength is not mediocre, but there are not a few candidates who can replace him. It is not surprising that a Jonin of this level died during the war. But if the identity is Hokage's son, the meaning is completely different. It's a causal cycle, Yamanaka said with emotion. In the last mission to assassinate second Kage, my brother Hitaki Tsukumo failed the mission in order to save the new help, and he was accused of being the waste that caused the mission to fail. And this time, my brother Hitaki Xuan Che chose not to save him, and successfully completed the task. I don't know what Sarutobi's new help will be if he knows what he will feel. It may be that Grandmaster Ninjutsu is related to the mind, and Yamanaka Keiichi's character is also more delicate. Hitaki Tsukumo is accused of saving his companions. Hitaki Xuan Che completes the task after seeing his companions die. Which one of the brothers' actions is correct? He is not easy to say. But the only certainty is, everyone is qualified to blame Hitaki Tsukumo, but Sarutobi Shinosuke is not qualified. What do you mean when the other party rescued you? This is why he doesn't like this person, too self. Is it really killed by second Kage? Naruto, who was the brain of the 3, suddenly spoke. Advertisement Akamichi Teza and Yamanaka Keiichi both turned their heads in confusion, and looked at Narakaji in confusion. Akamichi Dingza frowned and asked, what are you talking about, Luju? Yamanaka Keiichi turned a step faster, guessing Naruto's thoughts, and said with trepidation. Luju, you won't be suspicious, shish. Naruto put her index finger up to the side of her eye, motioning for Yamanaka to stop. Yamanaka Keiichi barely recovered his calm, but his tone still couldn't help but tremble. His eyes turned to Jiraiya who was still talking with Tsunade and Orochimaru, and said, since, Lord Jiraiya, should know some inside stories. No, before his friend could finish speaking, Naruto coldly interrupted his plan and pressed her lips tightly. Many times, if you don't know too much, you can live longer. After saying this sentence, Naruto took the 2 of them and left without looking back. As if it had passed from the future. As for the speculation just now, it will naturally be completely rotten in the stomach. Dinnertime that night. Orochimaru, the commander-in-chief of the front, gave the order. Any ninja who is injured or whose family members have casualties can return to Konoha early. Only a small number of people who guard the border and negotiate with the Kingdom of Wind are left behind. In fact, there is no need for Orochimaru to say more, Tsunade can't wait to leave this ghost place a long time ago. Although he has never been on the battlefield since last year, he made great contributions to Konoha in the early stage. In addition, in the later stage, countless Konoha shinobi were pulled back from the deathline. Tsunade is definitely the first result of this second ninja war. To be honest, if Tsunade stayed in Konoha when the original book elected 4th Hokage. Advertisement: there is nothing about Namikaze Minato. Huh? Kato Dan is dead? Orochimaru just announced that the wounded and the ninja with a family change can return to Konoha in less than a second. A strange cry from Xuan Che attracted everyone's attention. Orochimaru's eyes twitched violently and looked at Xuan Che and Tsunade, who were sitting together. When will these two guys end the meeting? Keep your voice down, stupid. Noting that everything else looked this way, Tsunade squeezed Xuan Che's shoulder badly and explained. On the 4th day after you and Sarutobi Shinosuke left, Konoha and Sand Shinobi fought again. According to Orochimaru, he died at the hands of a ninja who used weird black iron sand. Black iron sand? Third Kazekage? Xuan Che speculated, rubbing his chin. In the original book, Kato Dan seems to be killed. In all likelihood, they died in the hands of rock shinobi explosion-style ninjas. However, it may also be a detonation symbol. This thing is universal in the ninja world. But when Kato Dan died like this, Xuan Che was still a little uncomfortable. This is not in line with the routine. The role of this kind of rival attribute. Shouldn't it be killed by yourself? How could you die so casually? Suddenly Xuan Che felt like, you fell down before I could do anything. What are you doing? An inexplicable expression. Noting Xuan Che's weird look, Tsunade bumped him with his arm on his side waist. It's okay, he will die when he dies. Anyway, his strength will be the same sooner or later. Xuan Che's heartless speech made everyone around him feel chills. Although from Xuan Che's standpoint, he should really wish that Kato Dan would die early, but you don't have to say it so openly, right? Chapter 33. Welcome. Welcome back, heroes. Master Tsunade. Thank you for saving my husband. Master Tsunade. Master Jiraiya, hard work. That is the rumored Konoha Black Knife. I heard that he killed 2nd Kazekage and completely ended this war. Really? Great, Konoha gave birth to a strong man, and we can be safer in the future. The main entrance of Konoha village. The sky full of colored ribbons scattered on the avenue. The villagers of the whole village gathered on both sides of the street, calling for the return of the ninjas. When Xuan Che, Tsunade, Jiraiya and others appeared in public view, the burst of cheers resounded across the sky. Among them, the voice of the villagers is the master. Of all the Konoha shinobi who are on the battlefield, 9 out of 10 are treated by Tsunade. In the normal world where Xuan Che was in his previous life, many big people try to avoid offending the doctor. Not to mention the ninja world. Who can guarantee that he will not get sick in the future? Secondly, it is Jiraiya's name. It's not also mixed with the sound of yelling Orochimaru. And faintly, you can also hear Xuan Che's name and name. The killing of 2nd Kazekage made the name, Konoha Black Knife, thoroughly resounded through the ninja world. But as Hitaki Tsukumo, who has done nothing inferior to Orochimaru and Jiraiya in this ninja battle. All the way from the main entrance to the entrance of the administrative building, almost no one could hear his name cheering. Was it just because of that boring mission that failed? It's so pitiful, brother, Xuan Che teased. Konoha's white Fang. Konoha's white Fang. Dad is the best. However, at this moment, 2 cheers came into the ears of the ninjas in the middle. Hitaki Tsukumo, who had a wry smile on his face, turned around, and suddenly became bitter and cheerful. Advertisement: it was Wuakai and Runtu who shouted the 2 sentences just now. Pooh. No, it's Kakashi and Obito. In addition, Rin Nohara, Yurihong, Might Guy and other generations of Xiaoqiang are constantly cheering. Where's eldest brother? Where's my eldest brother? However, in this atmosphere of national celebration, an angry voice suddenly sounded, attracting everyone's attention. Seeing Kakashi's side, Asuma crowded out the crowd like crazy, ran to the front of Xuan Che, Jiraiya and others, and asked with tears in his eyes. Why isn't my eldest brother and sister Rai? Where are the rest of the family? Asuma's behavior immediately attracted countless Konoha villagers on both sides, and they started talking in whispers. Who is that kid? It's rude. Shush, keep it quiet, that's Master Hokage's youngest son. It is said that Lord Hokage's eldest son died in the war. Really? It's so pathetic. Jiraiya was stunned when he heard Asuma's questioning. What? Big brother? Are you referring to Sarutobi's eldest son? Hitaki Tsukumo sighed, patted Asuma on the shoulder, and comforted. Shinosuke-kun died at the hands of Kazekage during a mission with Xuan Che. Unfortunately, he is our Konoha hero. But it doesn't matter, because I have killed Fang Ying and avenged him. Xuan Che said with a smile beside him. Hearing what the Hitaki brothers said, Jiraiya was stupid. What? Sarutobi Shinosuke died in the mission of assassinating Funkage. The Kingdom of Wind, where he and Xuan Che went together. Kill Fang Ying together. Advertisement: Sarutobi Shinosuke was not seen from beginning to end. Why did this person die in Fang Ying's hands? At this moment, Jiraiya was completely confused. No, it's impossible, absolutely impossible, Asuma shouted angrily. My big brother is so strong, he can't die. Xuan Che was speechless. Your brother is an ordinary Jonin. Although he is not weak, he cannot match the word strong. He was hit by a sand shot from Shaman and died in the village gloriously. You can't help it if you don't believe it. Xuan Che Tansho Road. You bullshit. Asuma furiously pointed at Xuan Che and shouted. Since you were on a mission with my elder brother, why don't you save him? Did you watch him die? Yo-yo, kid, what you said is wrong. Xuan Che smiled more and more brightly and said. Before, my old brother rescued the young master Shinosuke, but Konoha was scolded by many ninjas, including your eldest brother. This time I didn't save him. Instead, I should have fulfilled his wish. Otherwise, if I save him back, what should he do if he scolds me for trash in the future? Do you think that? At the end, Xuan Che turned his head and asked other Konoha shinobi around him. The collective was speechless at the scene. Asuma, the 6-year-old kid, flushed with anger and couldn't find any reason to refute it. Right. Seeing no one answered, Xuan Che suddenly raised his voice and asked again. Many weak ninjas and ordinary villagers around shuddered. Yes, Master Xuan Che is right. This is for Konoha's victory. Master Xuan Che focuses on the village and has done nothing wrong. Sama Shinosuke Izumi knows, and he must be so hopeful. Chapter 34. Hear the constant flattery of the dogs around. Xuan Che couldn't help but feel a little refreshment in his heart. Although I knew in my heart that few flattery words of these guys came from the heart, it was still very cool. Xuan Che also finally understood that a certain man surnamed Ma in his previous life liked to pretend so much. Master Xuan Che, I cannot agree with your opinion. Just when everyone kept slapping Xuan Che flattery, another retort came, attracting the attention of everyone at the scene. Approximately a 15-year-old boy with dazzling blonde hair and features with warm masculinity. Even Xuan Che has to admit that the nickname, Little Sun, is true. Namikaze Minato. It can be said to be the ceiling level of the African blood ninja in the Hokage world. Of course, what made Xuan Che speechless the most was that he died later and was able to practice the other half of Nine Tails into the Nine Tails mode in the underworld. This FK is too outrageous, right? Is the place you go called Soul Society? Noting Xuan Che's many eyes, Namikaze Minato, who has worn Konoha forehead protector, put one hand in front of her own mouth, and introduced herself. My name is Namikaze Minato, Master Xuan Che, then what? Xuan Che asked unchanged expression. No one can refute your contribution to Konoha's victory, but you said just now that you can give up your companion's life for the mission, which I cannot agree with. Namikaze Minato became a young and old man. Nothing is more important than life. If the success or failure of each mission and the lives of the companions are measured on a scale, and everyone chooses the mission, it will only forget the nature of the will of fire. Perhaps face value determines success or failure. After Namikaze Minato's words, he was not treated with mocking eyes like Asuma did. Many people lowered their heads to think, and even nodded secretly. Advertisement. I think that what the young man said does have some truth. And Jiraiya on the right back of Xuan Che heard Namikaze Minato speaking like this. His eyes were shining, and he looked like he had picked up a treasure. Do you know that my idiot brother was almost scolded for autism? Xuan Che suddenly asked Namikaze Minato. Listen, I've heard of it. During the Second Ninja War, Namikaze Minato was just Chunin, who was responsible for staying in the village. At that time, the storm caused by the failure of the White Fang mission almost affected the entire Konoha shinobi circle. All of a sudden, a weird atmosphere of, if you don't criticize White Fang, you are not a Konoha shinobi. Even though Namikaze Minato was still young, he noticed something wrong. It's just that he has some brains, unlike the idiots in the original book who don't even deserve their names, and he doesn't have the brain to spit on them when he hears some rumors. Do you know how to maintain a mindset in this situation? Xuan Che asked again. Namikaze Minato didn't understand why Xuan Che asked this question to himself, but he nodded honestly. Never argue with stupid people. Namikaze Minato. I don't think it's right. Xuan Che. Well, you were right. Puff. Tsunade at the back left couldn't hold back and smiled. Feeling the slobber of the horns, the image of Princess Tsunade can't collapse. Namikaze Minato. I'm so angry, but I still have to keep smiling. It's amazing, it completely silenced the other party. Obito among the crowd behind him dumbfounded. Advertisement. Rin Nohara lowered her head to think and said inwardly. Which party should be selected first for companions and tasks, if it is me? Yurihon. So handsome. Shizune turned his eyes on Xuan Che and Namikaze Minato's faces and asked curiously. Red, which one are you talking about? When he heard, the will of fire, from Namikaze Minato, Xuan Che had already defined the opponent as a idiot. It's just not annoying. After this small storm ended, the main ninja headed by Xuan Che arrived in the administrative building one after another. Report the battle to Sarutobi Hiruzen, who is Hokage, and finally just wait for Orochimaru, who is on the front line, to send Sand Shinobi's truce. It can completely announce the end of the Second Ninja World War. Compared to Asuma, Sarutobi Hiruzen is more calm about the death of his eldest son. He even reported the process of the assassination of Second Kazekage in Xuan Che. Nor did he show any doubts about the death of his eldest son. On the other hand, Jiraiya was dumbfounded from beginning to end. According to Xuan Che's report, he and Sarutobi Shinosuke set off from the country of Kawa to the country of Rain, and then met himself. The three of them sneaked into the land of the wind and assassinated Second Kazekage in Sanagakure. But I never met Sarutobi Shinosuke from start to finish. What's the situation? Before you set off from Konoha, you once said that even if you witnessed the death of your companion, you have to complete the task. You really did it. After listening to Xuan Che's report, Sarutobi Hiruzen said in a tone that couldn't hear the emotional waves. Of course. Xuan Che proudly said, after all, my old brother faced the same situation before and chose to save his comrades. It was sprayed into a sieve, but now I have become Konoha's hero, which perfectly proves that my choice is correct. Chapter 35. Under 9 Springs, young Master Shinosuke hoped that I would do this too. After all, he also sprayed my stupid Oni-san before and almost committed suicide, didn't he? When Xuan Che said this sentence with a smile, Sarutobi Hiruzen squeezed the index and middle fingers of his right hand while holding the cigarette stick. If you change to an ordinary ninja, it is really hard to notice. However, several cage-level ninjas were keenly aware of this. Picking up a rock and hitting myself in the foot, huh? Tsunade secretly dismissed. Originally, she didn't bother to look at Sarutobi Hiruzen's old face. Mainly, I was curious about how Sarutobi Hiruzen would react when he heard the news of his elder son's death. Well, I think so too. After being silent for more than 10 seconds, Sarutobi Hiruzen raised his head again with a smile, nodded and said, next, just wait for Orochimaru to send the Wind Nation's cooperation agreement. There is nothing to say, Master Hokage. Nara Shiruhisa, who is not cage-level capable, also noticed the strange look of Sarutobi Hiruzen through her shrewd mind. But he knows better that for this matter, Sarutobi Hiruzen has no way to blame Xuan Che. After all, in the same situation last time, Hitaki Tsukumo saved Sarutobi Shinosuke, but he was sprayed as a fool. In that case, Hitaki Xuan Che chose to die this time. The precedent is here, and you have no room for refutation. Immediately, Sarutobi Hiruzen smiled again. Everyone has worked hard back from the battlefield. Let's go back and reunite with your family first. Oh, it's almost dead. After Tsunade left a word coldly, he left without looking back. Sarutobi Hiruzen's face went dark again. Hey, this girl, she just can't hide her words in her heart. Xuan Che gave a weird laugh, and walked out of the office afterwards. To be honest, someone like Tsunade who can't hide anything in his mind is not suitable for being a superior. Belongs to the same person as her grandfather Senju Hashirama. Advertisement, but it does not have the same overwhelming strength as Senju Hashirama. So after being qualified for 5th Hokage in the original book, it seems to have suppressed the elders. But it can't completely eradicate their power. Udadan Ekaharu and Midokado Homura, the 2 beam jumping clowns, were okay, and they were jumping in front of Tsunade. By the way, those 2 guys seem to have survived the blog post, a miracle. After Jiraiya, Hitaki Tsukumo, and Inoshika Cho headed by Narashika, left one by one. Sarutobi Hiruzen immediately summoned his 3 old comrades. Konoha Elders F4, gather in the highest conference room. Do you think Shinosuke died at Funkage's hands, Hiruzen? Udadan Ekaharu was the first to express suspicion after hearing Xuan Che's remarks repeated by Sarutobi Hiruzen. The promotion of Sarutobi Hiruzen's son to the position of Hokage was agreed by all 4 of them, including Danzo. After all, the relationship between Danzo and Sarutobi Hiruzen is not as split as it did after World War III. And as long as Sarutobi Hiruzen's descendants can continue to serve as Hokage, Konoha's real power will still be held in their hands. And if you let Senju, Uchiha, or the non-elders faction in power, then their good days are coming to an end. Therefore, Shinosuke's death is not only bad news for Sarutobi Hiruzen, but also for the entire elders. Of course, the other 3 are also very clear. With Sarutobi's new help, I want to be Hokage unless Sarutobi Hiruzen changes the Hokage system to a dictatorship. What are you doubting, Kaharu? Midokado Homura frowned. You don't suspect that Hitaki Xuan Che gave Shinosuke. Although he has a unique style of acting, he can't be so courageous, right? Midokado Homura immediately guessed the thoughts of this old friend who had known each other for nearly 50 years. But he found it impossible. Hitaki Xuan Che's acting style is indeed very different from the naive Hitaki Tsukumo. Advertisement old spicy, vicious, ruthless, city. All the words used to describe their elders can be put on Xuan Che. Although the elders would not admit it themselves. Otherwise, why would you put the phrase, all for Konoha, on your lips? Anyway, there is no evidence. How did Shinosuke die? Isn't the kid's mouth telling it? Udadan Ekaharu said coldly, she hates Hitaki Xuan Che. Not because of anything else, just because he cannot be used by the elders. In their eyes, all geniuses who cannot be used for their own sake have no value in existence. Danzo, what do you think? Sarutobi Hiruzen asked Danzo, who is the best at playing yin among the 4. Danzo is indifferent to Sarutobi Shinosuke's cause of death. In his opinion, Sarutobi Shinosuke's qualifications are mediocre and he is not qualified to be promoted to Hokage at all. If you die, you die. If it's not because he is your Sarutobi Hiruzen's son, do you still need to spend a lot of time calling the old man? But Sarutobi Hiruzen, the Hokage's face, still has to be given. After Danzo thought for a few seconds, Kaido, didn't Jiraiya also participated in the assassination of Hokage? Ask him. After coming out of the administration building, Jiraiya came to the outskirts of Konoha alone, outside Xuan Che's farm hut. Well, aren't you there? Knocked on the door and found no response, Jiraiya frowned and said to herself. Chapter 36. Without seeing Xuan Che in the farm hut, Jiraiya could only return to Konoha and find Hitaki Shumo to ask about his whereabouts. Xuan Che. Just now when he was about to go back, he was dragged by Nawaki to drink. He should be in the Senju family's clan now? Hitaki Tsukumo, who was holding his son's hand and preparing to go home, said after thinking about it. Really, thanks, Mr. Shumao. Even though it was Sanin, he subconsciously added a respectful name when facing Hitaki Shumo. Where is Feng Ying? Thank you for helping Xuan Che. Hitaki Tsukumo waved his hand and chuckled, Wind Shadow. Upon hearing these two words, Jiraiya's expression changed slightly. After a short silence, Jiraiya couldn't help but ask. Mr. Shumao, don't you think there is anything wrong with Feng Ying's mission? Because other passers-by pass by and cast their gaze here from time to time. Therefore, Jiraiya did not say the word, assassin. Huh? Is there any problem? Hitaki frowned and asked. At this time, another middle-aged man of the same age as Hitaki Tsukumo led the little lowly Yurihong towards this side. Just from the pair of red pupils that looked exactly like Shirihong, he could guess his identity. What are you talking about? Yuri Zhenhong took her daughter up and asked. Oh, it's Red, facing his friend, Hitaki responded with a smile, and then he was puzzled. Jiraiya has doubts about Xuan Che's raid on Sunagakure with him and Shinosuke. There is nothing weird about seeing Hitaki Shumo's expression. Jiraiya had determined inwardly that this man didn't know anything inside. While sighing secretly, he couldn't help but shook his head with a wry smile. He has heard about White Fang from Orochimaru and Tsunade. Advertisement such a powerful White Fang was almost killed by rumors. Originally he didn't believe it, but today we meet again after many years. He only discovered that Hitaki's personality was so naive, even a little naive. Didn't you notice the strange behavior of your brother? Hitaki Tsukumo really didn't see it, while Yuri Zhenhong just pretended to be confused, and said. I also heard about this. You have also worked very hard to perform such a super S-grade mission. Let's take a rest first. Long before Hitaki Tsukumo, the mission failed and was criticized by the whole village. Yuri Zhenhong was faintly aware that something was wrong. As the village's top-secret super S-grade mission, how could it be known to everyone in the city? And it's not uncommon for a ninja mission to fail, but why is the accusation against Hitaki Tsukumo this time more exaggerated than ever? Then I contacted myself and heard from Naruto and others. Xuan Che took the initiative to team up with Sarutobi Shinosuke and went to San Shinobi to assassinate second Kazekage. A series of clues are connected. Yuri Zhenhong had vaguely guessed something. Just still trying to understand and pretend to be confused. With his strength and status, he is not qualified to participate in such a deep thing. Upon hearing the words of Yurimaki, Jiraiya also knew that it was impossible to continue to ask. After nodding to the two of them, Jiraiya turned and left. Jiraiya's expression is a bit wrong, what's the matter? Hitaki Shumo was puzzled. Shuo Mao, you have a chance to eat more walnuts to replenish your brain. Faced with a fierce, politically IQ close friend who is 50-50 with a child, Yuri Zhenhong patted him on the shoulder lamentingly. What do you mean? Hitaki said displeased. Let's go eat barbecue together with our two families. Yuri Zhenhong smiled and suggested, Dad, can you call Mr. Xuan Che together? Shirihong's eyes flashed with anticipation. Advertisement. Huh? Why? So handsome, the evening red twin pupils are shining with stars. Yuri is really red. It feels like the soil of the newly sprouted cabbage is a bit loose. Senju family land. Hello, Lord Jiraiya. Is Lord Jiraiya here to see Princess Tsunade? Turn right ahead. Would you like to try the fresh steamed buns, Master Jiraiya? As soon as they stepped into the Senju clan, many Senju people from the past took the initiative to greet Jiraiya. Jiraiya nodded in response, while sighing inwardly. The big clan that used to be on par with Uchiha has become like this now. Although there are still many ethnic people living in Senju ethnic land. But Jiraiya, a foreigner, knows very well. These people, who are incapable of becoming ninjas and are no different from ordinary people, cannot bear the name Senju at all. It is also Tsunade, plus Senju Nawaki and a handful of Senju ninjas who are not dead yet but have no ninja talents. Now the position of Senju family in Konoha is not to mention Sarutobi, Uchiha, Hyuga. Not even Ino Shikacho, Inazuka, and Aburame can match. If it weren't for the cage-level town of Tsunade, I'm afraid it's not Moonlight, or Shiranui. These ninjas would ride on Senju's head and shit. The patriarch's residence where Tsunade and Nawaki lived is located in the corner of the clan land. It is said that Senju Hashirama was hit hard after the war with Uchiha Madara and needed to be in a quiet environment, so he moved to the fringe area of the clan. However, after a heavy hit a year ago, the Senju clan members have been reduced to ultimate, and they are quiet no matter where they are. When Jiraiya walked to the entrance of the mansion, he could only smell the scent of sukiyaki from the mansion, and Senju Nawaki's gloating tone. It's really a brother-in-law. Not only did he kill Sarutobi Shinosuke, but he also made the other party unable to find evidence. Now Sarutobi Hiruzen should be angry at home and hit the wall. Haha. Chapter 37 in the courtyard of the Senju Patriarch's residence. A casserole was placed on a stone table, and the boiling sukiyaki exuded the aroma of beef. Xuan Che, Tsunade, and Nawaki are in a triangular position, sitting on the stone table in 3 directions. Tsunade's pretty face was already flushed due to heat and alcohol. It's really a brother-in-law. Not only did he kill Sarutobi Shinosuke, but he also made the other party unable to find evidence. Now Sarutobi Hiruzen should be angry at home and hit the wall. Haha. Nawaki picked up the jug and filled Xuan Che and his elder sister again, gloating. The person who likes to play power tricks the most has stumbled on what he is most proud of. However, the most admirable thing is your brother-in-law's strategy. The country of rain has continuously fought against the three powers of the country of fire, the country of wind, and the country of soil. There are corpses all over the ground. There will be no more Sarutobi Shinosuke. The problem is unassailable. Nawaki's face became redder the more he said. Not because of alcohol like Tsunade, but because of excessive excitement. No, it just so happens that because of the fact that I started in the country of rain, there was a flaw that I didn't even think of. Xuan Che picked up the wine glass and took a sip, then the light from the corner of his eye swept towards the door, smiling but not smiling. And that flaw has already come. Jiraiya, come and have some. When Xuan Che said this sentence, Nawaki and Tsunade, who were already a bit drunk, were mostly sober in an instant. Looked towards the main entrance. I saw Jiraiya walk into the courtyard with shock, panic, anger, sadness and many other complex expressions on his face. Xuan Che, sure enough, you did it. Jiraiya finally squeezed a word from his teeth. Xuan Che reported to Sarutobi Hiruzen that he set off in the country of Kawa with Sarutobi Shinosuke, and then met himself in the country of rain. Subsequently, the three of them sneaked into Sunagakure to assassinate Second Kazekage. In the end, Sarutobi Shinosuke died in the hands of Second Kazekage. But the truth from Jiraiya's personal experience is, advertisement Sarutobi Shinosuke did not participate in the assassination of Fukage from beginning to end. Even saw him at the beginning of the fight, Jiraiya had already guessed in his heart. And just now, I heard Nawaki's words again. The truth is firmly presented in front of you. Ah, to be honest, it's really not as good as the sky, and who can guess that it's a coincidence that I will meet you in the country of rain? Xuan Che gave a chuckle, took out a pair of bowls and chopsticks from the side and said, speak as you eat. How could Jiraiya now feel like eating and drinking again? Don't talk about him. Even Tsunade and Nawaki, at the moment when each other appeared, also tacitly put down the wineglass in his hand. Faced with the looming hostility exuding from Senju's sister and brother, Jiraiya frowned tightly, and even asked in a daze. Tsunade, Nawaki, you guys, don't you know it from the beginning? He guessed it when he proposed to kill Fukage with Sarutobi Shinosuke. Tsunade raised his glass again with an uncomfortable expression, poured it into his mouth, and said indifferently. But it's true, it's a coincidence, he will meet you unexpectedly. Jiraiya-senpai, are you going to inform Sarutobi Hiruzen? Nawaki was even more polite and wrote the word, hostility, directly on his face. Since the Senju clan suffered a misfortune last year, he has never called Sarutobi Hiruzen Hokage again, at least not behind the scenes. In his opinion, Sarutobi Hiruzen does not deserve to have the same name as his two grandfathers. Nawaki, Jiraiya didn't know what to answer at the moment. You have been here all the way, you should have seen the situation of the Senju clan now, right? The hatred on Nawaki's expression became stronger, and then. Advertisement, the man is almost dead. Compared to us, Sarutobi Hiruzen is just a dead son, it can't be compared. Jiraiya was speechless. Last year, the Senju clan strayed into the enemy's trap due to errors in the intelligence provided by the intelligence department, leading to annihilation. Including Tsunade and Nawaki's parents. The highest person in charge of the intelligence department is the Shimura family. Even then, Jiraiya was still teaching the future Akatsuki trio in Rainy Country. I can also vaguely perceive that this matter is not that simple. And Nawaki was even more straightforward and straightforwardly pointed out the words. This is the instruction of the high-level decision-making team. Senju and Uchiha are the two most unconvinced of Sarutobi Hiruzen's job as Hokage. And Senju has already given birth to two Hokages. The opposition was even more intense, and after that happened last year. Seeing the ending of Senju, Uchiha is also honest. After all, Uchiha's situation is not much better than Senju's, and even before Senju's disaster, it was not as good as Senju. At least Senju has a Tsunade, but Uchiha has not yet born a Kage-level powerhouse. The chain of hatred. Looking at Nawaki's hatred eyes, Jiraiya suddenly thought of what Great Toad Sage had said in the past. The Son of Prophecy will cut the chain of hatred in this world and bring true peace of mutual understanding between people. And he will become the leader of the Son of Prophecy. Thinking of this, Jiraiya's expression became firm by 3 points. As if made up some determination, after saying, I'm going now, he turned and left. Chapter 38. Brother-in-law, Jiraiya-senpai is the only one who knows the truth, do you think he will? Looking at the back of Jiraiya leaving alone, Nawaki asked Xuan Che worriedly. Will not. Xuan Che took a piece of beef from the stone pot, put one piece in his bowl, and one piece to Tsunade's mouth. Tsunade stared angrily for a few seconds, and finally opened her lips slightly, biting the meat into her mouth. Jiraiya is very emotional. This is why I don't hate him, and it's his biggest weakness. Xuan Che confidently said. Among other things, it's just the future that Orochimaru and Sarutobi Hiruzen are fighting for life and death, and he chooses to be neutral. It is enough to explain many problems. What's the matter? Jiraiya, this desolate look is not suitable for you, idiot. When Jiraiya left the Senju clan, he happened to meet Orochimaru, who led a small number of guards back to Konoha. Seeing Jiraiya's deep complexion and frowning expression, Orochimaru couldn't help but joked. Orochimaru. Jiraiya raised his eyes and stared at his friend whose temperament was getting colder in front of him, and asked a few seconds later. The thing about Xuan Che and Shinosuke, you know? That matter? Orochimaru turned his snake eyes to think for half a second, then suddenly said. Oh, you mean Xuan Che gave Shinjuzuki to, hey. Before Orochimaru finished speaking, Jiraiya yelled back. The other Konoha shinobi practitioners around Ji Ling were shocked. In the next second, Jiraiya drooped Orochimaru's shoulder and pulled him to the other side, lowering his voice as much as possible. You guy, are you crazy? Talking about this topic in the public? Orochimaru shrugged and smiled. What's the big deal? I'm not on Sarutobi teacher's side, nor on Xuan Che's side, just a neutral attitude. Neutral attitude. Advertisement. Hearing these 4 words from Orochimaru's mouth, Jiraiya's expression changed again. Are they all Konoha's ninjas, but have they split into several factions unknowingly? For me, they are all fragile creatures that can die at any time, and I have no interest in the struggle of these people. Orochimaru kept a faint smile from beginning to end, appearing to be indifferent to everything. In his eyes, the immortality and infinite ninjutsu of his best friend is nothing more. And for a person who can gain eternal life, a battle between outsiders or people who will die sooner or later. Meaningless. What about you, Jiraiya, which side are you on? But having said that, Orochimaru was against if Xuan Che and Sarutobi teacher confront each other, who can win this point? Still quite interested. What do you mean? Jiraiya became more and more disturbed. You and I know very well that Shinosuke was killed by Xuan Che. Although Mr. Sarutobi has no evidence, Xuan Che must be included in the blacklist of the high-level elders, and they will face each other sooner or later. Orochimaru smiled and said, behind Xuan Che are Tsunade, Nawaki, and White Fang, but behind teacher Sarutobi are the elders and even Konoha. It seems that Mr. Sarutobi has an overwhelming advantage, but because of his aging relationship, his strength has inevitably begun to weaken. And Uchiha, Hyuga, Ino Shikacho and other big clans, in my opinion, may not be so loyal to teacher Sarutobi. When talking about this, Orochimaru couldn't help but laugh out. In such a situation, your cage-level choice is an important way to determine the balance of this scale. Jiraiya's eyebrows twitched violently, not waiting for him to answer the other side. An Anbu wearing a mask suddenly appeared beside the two with body flicker technique and said, Master Orochimaru, Master Jiraiya, Master Hokage call you too. Jiraiya noticed the conspicuous yellow hair behind the Anbu mask in front of him. Did you dare to confront the child of Xuan Che before? Advertisement. This is the truce agreement that Chiyo of San Shinobi asked me to give you. In Hokage's office, Orochimaru presented a small scroll to his desk and then said indifferently. I'll go back first if it's okay. There are still many ninjutsu waiting for me to study. Sarutobi Hiruzen did not stop and sat and watched Orochimaru leave. I feel that the emotion between these two people has become weaker. Jiraiya, who was observing the two secretly, pursed her dry lips subconsciously. What happened during the 3 years that I left Konoha and taught the 3 of Nagato? Why is everything in the village so strange to me? Father, is there something to call me? Asked Jiraiya, the only Sannin who still retains the mentorship with Sarutobi Hiruzen. Can you tell us about the process of you, Hitaki Xuan Che, and Shinosuke on the Wind Shadow assassination mission together? Sarutobi Hiruzen fixed his eyes on Jiraiya. It is as expected. Jiraiya said inwardly, sure enough, does the old man also doubt it? Xuan Che had said it once before, but he had to repeat it by himself. I just want to confirm my guess. Jiraiya was silent for about half a minute before speaking slowly. I didn't see with my own eyes. Sarutobi Shinosuke died in the hands of second Kazekage. He said, I didn't see Sarutobi Shinosuke die in the hands of second Kazekage. Not the truth of. I didn't meet Sarutobi Shinosuke during the mission. In fact, Jiraiya is playing a word game with Sarutobi Hiruzen. He chose the same attitude as Orochimaru. Regarding the grievances between these two groups, they chose a neutral stand. Anyway, I didn't lie. I did not see Sarutobi Shinosuke die in the hands of second Kazekage. Isn't it? Chapter 39 by the farm hut on the outskirts of Konoha. 2 afterimages, one black and one white, collided constantly by the side of the stream, and their trajectory could not be seen clearly with the naked eye. Whenever the focus is on them, it has already moved to another position. Okay, so strong, so strong. These are Konoha's famous Black Knife and White Fang. Obito clenched his fists, his cheeks flushed with excitement and excitement. You, a Uchiha clan, are not staying in your own family. Why do you run to our Hitaki clan's place all day long? 55 Kai turned a pair of dead fish eyes to run 2 down next to him. You care about me. This is not the land of the Hitaki family. Where do I want to come as my freedom? Obito replied unconvinced. In fact, he didn't really want to come, he just wanted to compete with Kakashi. HMPH, you have time to watch the duel between your father and uncle at the end of the crane, so it might be useful to do more basic exercises. Kakashi disdainfully said, otherwise, it will only become waste in the waste that is dragging its feet in the future. What did you say? Obito was furious when he heard that, and twisted Kakashi's collar and rode on him. The two fought together. Stop it, you guys don't fight anymore. Nohara Lin had no choice but to persuade her. She didn't want to come by herself, but was pulled over by her best friend Shi Rihong. Hitaki streamed Chidori. Suddenly, the white light and shadow that were knocked into the air floated briefly. Hitaki Shumo's one-handed seal. Lightning broke out on the right arm holding the knife, and the unstable lightning-style chakra was a little out of control, spreading from the palm to the entire arm. According to Xuan Che's suggestion, focus all the lightning-style chakra on the effect achieved in the hand. However, Xuan Che also couldn't remember the printing method of the original senju, so his suggestions were extremely limited. Originally Hitaki Tsukumo was very good at stimulating his body through lightning style to achieve the effect of skyrocketing speed. Adding Chidori now makes it even better than before. Puff. Whoop. When Hitaki Tsukumo burst out with thunder on his right arm and rushed out again. Even the air made a loud noise. CCC. Thousands of birds blaring and neighing, like 1,000 birds singing in unison. Hence the name. Advertisement, this speed stimulates the body too much. Feeling the blurring of his eyes, Hitaki gritted his teeth secretly. Because the lightning-style chakra is used to stimulate the body to achieve the high efficiency of speed increase, the eyes cannot keep up with the speed of the body. Xuan Che on the ground raised his eyes and stared at Hitaki Shumao who had fallen like lightning. Definitely faster than the finished version of the next 5-5. Small, one of the spectators, Yurihome Shaololi, yelled out loud. However, there are too many white fang in 1,000 birds state. She had just yelled the first, small, word, and the second, heart, had not yet been spoken. The fallen Hitaki Shumao has fallen in front of Xuan Che. At the last moment when the two sides were about to collide, Xuan Che's eyes suddenly shrank. A deep and full of years of vicissitudes of life suddenly sounded in Xuan Che's mind. Call me. Xuan Che's face suddenly changed. Bah. The two brothers flashed past each other. When the onlookers were around 50-50, run two and the others clearly saw Xuan Che and Hitaki Shumao again. Hitaki Shumao has appeared behind Xuan Che. At this time, under the corner of Xuan Che's right cheek, a thin line slowly appeared. An array of blood dripped from it. Dad won. Turning from defense to offense, 55 Kai excitedly riding on run 2. Puff. However, he just finished talking about this poisonous milk. Hitaki Tsukumo broke through a huge opening in his right arm. The blood burst out from the cut in the ninja suit. Dad. Kakashi yelled out loud and ran up quickly. It's just broken skin, little things. Hitaki waved his hand and chuckled. Compared with the stab wound on the arm, more attention was paid to the back of the hand that was ripped apart due to the stimulation of lightning-style chakra. We have to continue to develop our talents, Hitaki said with emotion. Advertisement. But the knife that I had just now can be avoided with your perception ability, right, Xuan Che? Hitaki Shumo turned his head and asked Xuan Che again. At this time Xuan Che has sat down cross-legged. Rin Nohara, who dreams of becoming a medical ninja like Tsunade, takes out the medical kit she carries and bandages Xuan Che. Obito next to him could see a burst of lemons, slightly insight. Xuan Che changed the subject and said inwardly, the voice just now won't be. Open black lens bracket host. Hitaki Xuan Che close black lens bracket, swordsmanship. Hitaki, Hokage world. Right pointing arrow Hawkeye black swordsmanship, One Piece world, evolution degree. %. Fire style ninjutsu, Hokage world. Right pointing arrow blood succession limit inferno style, Hokage world, evolution degree, 82.5%. Body flicker technique, Hokage world. Right pointing arrow shunpo, Shinigami world, evolution, 30%. Just when Xuan Che called up the system to check, Tsunade came with a strange voice of yin and yang. Oh, Master Black Knife enjoyed it, what an amazing momentum, seeing Rina Yehara hurried back 2 steps. Look scared lowly. Get out, the patriarch's residence of the Sarutobi family. As Hokage, Sarutobi Hiruzen was once again driven out of the bedroom by his wife, Lake Biwa. The death of Sarutobi Shinosuke, although Sarutobi Hiruzen remained relatively rational. But Lake Biwa in Sarutobi is not that calm. After hearing about this, he almost didn't look for Xuan Che desperately. The words Xuan Che said when he left Konoha before combining. She is almost 100% sure that her son absolutely died in the hands of Hitaki Xuan Che. Finally, he was finally stopped by Sarutobi Hiruzen. And the price paid is you can sleep in the study alone. Too much, 50-year-olds also have needs, okay, chapter 40. Jiraiya replied to Sarutobi Hiruzen a few days ago, I didn't see Sarutobi Shinosuke die in the hands of second case gauge. Let Sarutobi Hiruzen have a 99% suspicion that his eldest son died in the hands of Xuan Che. Jiraiya didn't see it, which means that Shinosuke is most likely not dead in Funkage's hands. It was killed by Xuan Che, even if it is not, it is Xuan Che's death for his son. It is enough to cause the hatred of Sarutobi Hiruzen. If Xuan Che knew what Sarutobi Hiruzen thinks now. Even if you know the true face of this old guy, I'm afraid I can't help but pour a pea to wake up the old immortal. Can't eat sugar before pouring, what if he becomes addicted to sweetness? You can't save it, and you can't save it, how can you do this? But if Jiraiya's answer is, I never saw Sarutobi Shinosuke again in the mission, it is absolutely 100%. But even if the difference is only 1%, it is a huge difference. Because no matter how much Sarutobi Hiruzen suspects, he has no evidence to prove it. Of course, the more important reason is the strength of Xuan Che. If you change to a regular Genin Chunin, you don't even have a Jonin with a special background. Don't say any evidence, just order Anbu to tie people over while you are asleep. The elders have governed the country of fire for nearly 30 years, when does it need to show evidence? Master Hokage. just when Sarutobi Hiruzen was sitting in the hallway of the mansion, alone, empty and lonely. A very fast light and shadow fell sharply in the courtyard. The speed is so exaggerated that even most of Konoha's jonin can't match it. Advertisement because of the conspicuous yellow hair. For people who have seen him once, even if they wear a mask, they can tell his identity at a glance. Namikaze Minato, one of the current Anbu players, codenamed Light. Anbu is not so much Konoha's elite unit, it is more of Konoha's cradle. All the geniuses in the original works such as Namikaze Minato, Kakashi, Shisui, Uchiha Itachi have had a period of working experience in Anbu. But because Anbu is a covert operation force, therefore, when the masks on their faces are not enough to conceal their reputation, they will take off their masks, exit Anbu, and become ordinary ninjas on the bright side. However, Sarutobi Hiruzen put many geniuses of the village into Anbu with another purpose. That's edification. Well, to put it bluntly, it's brainwashing. All there are concentration camps for the people most affected by the will of fire. Joining Anbu may not be strong, but it is definitely a faithful inheritor of the will of fire. Stay in that kind of place. Even if he didn't have any interest in the will of fire at first, but in that environment. Over time, it will surely be affected, and Namikaze Minato in front of him, not to mention. At only 14 years old, he was born a civilian without any blood, and he has the strength that makes ordinary jonin afraid of 3 points. Sarutobi Hiruzen can't help but think of himself when he was young. When he was young, he didn't have the ability of the other party at all. In addition, Namikaze Minato and Nine Tails' new Jinchuriki Uzumaki Kushina are very close. For this kind of person, Sarutobi Hiruzen must be pulled into his camp. How are the tasks assigned to you done? Sarutobi Hiruzen quickly converged to the embarrassment of being kicked out of the room by his wife before, and asked solemnly. Master Xuan Che and Master Shuamao are worthy of their names. Their practice battles today really opened my eyes. Namikaze Minato sighed first, and then a little confused. Advertisement, but Master Hokage, why should I meet Master Xuan Che? His character is too dangerous. Sarutobi Hiruzen pretended to have a distressed expression, and said with emotion. Have you heard him say it before? He is a cold-blooded man who sacrificed his companions to complete the task, and failed to comprehend the meaning of the will of fire. The meaning of the will of fire is that the older generation burns their own lives and becomes the fire that leads the new generation. However, when his younger generation, Shinosuke, died, he chose not to save him. Such a cold character, I think there is a certain level of surveillance is necessary. Namikaze Minato is free to be brainwashed by the will of fire because of the origin of civilians. But Sarutobi Hiruzen was still stunned by what he said. Hitaki Sakumo saved your son before and almost committed suicide by being scolded? Now Hitaki Xuan Che doesn't save your son and will be under surveillance? It doesn't work if you work together, or if you don't save it, then what should I do? Of course, Namikaze Minato just thought about it in his heart, and he didn't dare to say it. There is still something to report to you, Lord Hokage. Namikaze Minato suddenly thought of something, and then Sarutobi Hiruzen said. Master Jiraiya found me today and said that he wanted to accept me as a disciple, so I hope to temporarily suspend the task of monitoring Master Xuan Che and follow Master Jiraiya to practice. Sarutobi Hiruzen was stunned when he heard the words. Jiraiya, among his 3 disciples at present, it can be said that he is the only one who is still eager to hope, and even has some ideas to pass the position of Hokage to him. But compared to Jiraiya, Sarutobi Hiruzen still put Asuma, his biological son, in front of him. After all, sons are naturally more important than disciples. But let Namikaze Minato be a disciple of Jiraiya? Sarutobi Hiruzen stroked the beard, which was still black, and smiled after a moment of contemplation. That's great, you can practice with Jiraiya.